I don't think that's the case this year. This team is legitimately a top 2 team in the nation. They are very, very good, which means if about 2 hours from now we're talking about Baylor with a win, we're talking about Baylor defeating obviously one of the best teams in the nation and a true outstanding ball club today in Texas. I think Baylor is very good. Texas has been a little better so far. But if Baylor plays their best basketball, they've got a real chance today.
Yeah, this is all about how Baylor can fight and how Baylor can compete against one of the best teams in the country in Texas. And you're right, there's no way to sugarcoat it. They certainly are up and down the lineup. To see Madison Booker and Rory Harmon, who we missed the last 2 times that Baylor and Texas played because she had torn her ACL. But you just look up and down this lineup, and you know, and you look at their stats, and you try not to get too starry-eyed on it. But I think Baylor is very clear-eyed and who they're playing today, and really see this more as an opportunity than anything else.
When it comes to sports medicine and orthopedics, Baylor Scott and White Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics brings the home team advantage to Central Texans. Time now for our starting lineup. First for Baylor's opponent, the Texas Longhorns, undefeated on the year, 11-0, ranked number 2 in the nation, wearing white uniforms with burnt orange letters and numerals. The lineup looks like this. The forwards are Justice Carlton, Brea Cunningham, an Arizona transfer, and Madison Booker, one of the best players in the SEC. As a trio, they are averaging nearly 40 points, 18 rebounds, and 6 assists per game. The center is Kyla Oldacre. She played at Miami when Baylor defeated them in San Antonio 2 years ago. The guard is Rory Harmon. Rory Harmon, one of the nation's leaders in assists. She has just 1 turnover in her last 2 games. For the Bears, it's the same starting lineup we've seen throughout the year. Baylor, ranked number 13 in the nation, 10-1, wearing the new anthracite black uniforms with gold letters and numerals, green trim. It is Bugs, Bella, and KJ in the front court. The back court is Jana Van Geitenbeek and Talia Scott. Talia Scott is a top 2 scorer in the nation at 24 points per game. Starting lineups are brought to you by Baylor Scott and White Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics. From injury prevention to enhanced recovery, team up with us to get back in the game. Well, Lori, the Bears are out at midcourt. Texas is about to join them. We've had a lot of fun calling these games over the years. Let's say we do one more and see if Baylor can pick up the 51st win that they've accumulated against Texas here in this series.
Yeah, that would be awesome. And what is really interesting about this starting lineup for Texas is Carlton's only started 1 game. Oldacre has not started a game this year. So going a little bit on the double big side, throwing a lot of bodies at Baylor, and we'll see how the Bears react with their regular starting lineup.
All right, Texas is out on the floor now. It'll be Kyla Oldacre and Kirsten Johnson at midcourt. Oldacre 6'6", KJ 6'4". The ball is in the air. The tip is sent back. It is controlled by Carlson, who wants to drive right inside and lays it in 5 seconds into the game. Justice Carlton gives Texas an early 2-0 lead. The ball was tipped right to her. Now Baylor with a near turnover in the backcourt, but they break it. Talia Scott drives to the free throw line and answers with a pull-up jumper. We are 17 seconds into the game, and each team has scored already. Well, 2 of the nation's top defenses, but both teams scoring on their first offensive possessions. Now here is Harmon, feeding Cunningham in close, glasses it too hard. KJ skies for the rebound. I tell you what, this game is off and running 30 seconds into it. Talia Scott has it. She feeds KJ, middle of the floor, beyond the three-point arc. Now to Bella on the left side. Loops it to Bugs. Bugs dribbles to the free throw line, cut off by the 6'6" Oldacre. Gets inside. She's going to force up the jumper anyway and hit it from the free throw line.
Boy, Bugs did not give up. She was being buried or bullied up and not able to get to the rim, but she just pulled up from the free throw line, and nice shot over 0-0.
Baylor with the 4-2 lead early. Now Kyla Oldacre takes a feed, has a lane to the basket like a runaway freight train, drives in and lays it in to tie the game at 4 apiece. Well, neither team, there's been just 1 miss so far on 4 shots taken. Here is Bugs swinging it left side over to Talia Scott. The pass is tipped by Harmon and out of bounds. It is going to stay with the Bears here. Baylor and Texas are tied at 4. Already a substitution for this Texas team that likes to press. Jordan Lee, who's been a starter most of the year, checks in for the first time. Baylor to play it in from the left sideline. It is Buggs taking the feed, finding Van Geitenbeek high on the left side, harassed by Lee, unloads to KJ, who banks in a three from the right side. Well, that's not how you would draw it up, but I'm not going to complain about that as the Bears take a 7-4 lead.
Hey, it counts no matter what, and you will take one of those. And I tell you, KJ really is good from the outside. She doesn't take a lot of shots, but it sure works.
Now Baylor takes the ball away. Here comes Jana Van Geitenbeek into the front court. Baylor a good start, 7-4 lead, trying to add to it. It's Buggs just inside the arc on the right side, feeds it to Van Geitenbeek. Van Geitenbeek, a left-hand dribble, swings it back to Buggs, open lane to the basket, drives inside, charges at Carlton, and finishes.
Boy, Buggs is here to play today, and a nice assist from Jana, who has to be really solid in her decision-making today, finding Buggs alone where she could operate in space and get to the lane.
2.5 minutes in, Texas on offense. Carlton with a contested jumper, good over KJ, falling away. KJ made it work for that defensively. Now the Bears with that early up pass, get it quickly into the front court. Here is Buggs in the lane, putting up a jumper. That one rims out, and the rebound is grabbed by Madison Booker, the point forward. She can do it all out there. Texas, one of the nation's top 20 rebounding teams. They grabbed the rebound, and Madison Booker did the rest, driving all the way down the floor for the layup. 4 quick points for Texas there within 1. Here's a transition 3 from Talia Scott. In and out. Offensive rebound by Buggs, and the putback is good.
Buggs just finds herself right where the ball is coming off the rim, and a clear offensive rebound and putback for Baylor, up 11-8.
Good start here offensively for the Bears. The early up getting them some good looks. Oh, now Brea Cunningham got behind KJ, took the post lob from Rory Harmon and finishes. That makes it 11-10. The Bears are up by 1 with possession. Taken away, though, a steal by Lee. Lee is fouled as she tries a mid-range jumper by Buggs. Free throws will be coming. That's what Texas wants to do, Lori. They have scored at least 18 points off of opponent turnovers in every game this year, and they average about 30. Think about that for a minute. 30 points per game off opponent turnovers, and they've got an opportunity to claim 2 here at the free throw line.
When you think about Baylor, Baylor averages turning the ball over about 16 times a game. Texas takes extraordinary care of the ball. They only turn it over about 10.
That foul is on Buggs. It's the first on either team. Jordan Lee missed the first free throw, hit the second, and she ties the game up at 11 apiece with 6.5 minutes to play in the first quarter. Lee pressuring Van Geitenbeek in the backcourt. She angles to cross midcourt to the right side of the floor, directing traffic. Lee bodying her up aggressively. That's already 13 seconds of the shot clock dribbled away. Now here is Buggs driving inside. This is where you see Texas apply the pressure. Buggs gets the defender off her feet, but can't hit the jumper. Chases down her own rebound, gets it back, has it knocked away. Shot clock at 16. Nearly a turnover, and it is. Buggs tried to lob it to a teammate behind her. Jordan Lee stole it and laid it in to give Texas the lead at 13-11. Well, we've seen Texas amp up the defensive pressure here just a little bit. And Baylor with a couple of turnovers. Texas with 3 points off of Baylor turnovers in the last minute. Here's Buggs flinging it left side to Van Geitenbeek. Drives inside, and she's fouled. You could see that smack there on her wrist, and that's a foul against Texas. That's going against Jordan Lee, her first, and that's the first on the Longhorns.
Well, when Baylor touches the paint, generally good things happen, and even Jana Van Geitenbeek making her way in there, knowing she's going to be poked and prodded and banged around.
Van Geitenbeek to play it in from the baseline. Lobs it near midcourt to Talia Scott over the outstretched arms of Rory Harmon. Scott drives to the basket and misses the runner. And the rebound is grabbed by Booker. Booker gets a full head of steam. She wants to take it inside. Cut off by Buggs to the right wing. Now drives back in. Gets in close and got the roll.
Boy, you know who she reminds me a lot of, Maddie Booker, is Melissa Smith. Just a big body who can just operate to the rim.
Texas picking up the tempo defensively, and nearly another turnover it is. Van Geitenbeek picked up her dribble and then threw it away, and the layup is good by Taya Sidbury. That is 5 quick points off of Baylor turnovers, and nearly another one as Baylor will maintain possession. Lee knocked the ball away. Lori, they are pressuring in the backcourt. They're pressuring right across midcourt. And right now we've seen Baylor's poise droop a little bit. They're going to have to pick it back up.
Yeah, they definitely are. Again, Texas is relentless in its defense and that press, and you just really have to find a way to handle it and find those outlet passes, because if you pick up your dribble and get stuck, things are going to be awfully hard.
You're going to have to think quickly. You see Vic Schaefer shouting things out at the opposite end of the floor. Coach Nikki at the opposite end as well. They've coached against each other a number of times. Johnny Harris, Baylor's associate head coach, spent 15 years coaching with Vic Schaefer at 3 different schools. They know each other well. Talia Scott with a kick out. Bella Fauntleroy, open 3, back rim, no. Rebound batted around, and it is Sidbury who comes away with it. Good look there, but Bella couldn't knock it down. It's a 17-11 Texas lead. They are on a 9-0 run. And now Booker lobs it down low to a cutting Sidbury, and she's fouled by Bella Fauntleroy. Clear foul by Bella Fauntleroy, bodying her up, but you know what? She had a layup potentially coming her way. If you're going to foul, foul hard. And that's what Bella did, bringing us to our first quarter media timeout. The 2025-26 women's basketball season is presented by Central National Bank, proudly serving Central Texans in Waco, Temple, and Austin. Bank different. Bank Central. Central National Bank. Texas has scored 9 straight. They're going to the free throw line when we come back after this. 4:35 to play first quarter. Texas 17, Baylor 11. Here on the Baylor Sports Media Network.
Serving Texas since 2007, Magnolia Realty is a full-service brokerage led by expert industry knowledge and a commitment to community. With kindness and integrity at the forefront, every agent is equipped to help you navigate the market and make the real estate journey your own. Whether buying or selling, feel supported with an award-winning agent at your side from first offer to contract and close. Magnolia Realty serves cities including Waco, Dallas, Fort Worth, Austin, San Antonio, Temple. Learn more at magnoliarealty.com.
When you strive for greatness, you have a target on your back. When it comes to finances, we're all targets for scammers. But with the right game plan, you can protect yourself. Don't get faked by fraud.
Here's a tip. If you get a call saying they're going to lock you in jail for missing jury duty unless you pay a fine, that's fake. Scammers use scare tactics to force you to act without thinking. Just hang up the phone.
This message is brought to you by Central National Bank.
You're listening to Baylor Women's Basketball on the Baylor Sports Media Network.
Texas has picked up the defensive intensity over the last couple of minutes. Over the last 2:10, they're on a 9-0 run, and they lead the Bears by a score of 17-11. Lori, I got to mention something here. I was wondering, I heard a loud cheer when I had my head turned earlier, and I thought, oh, Texas must be coming out on the floor. No, it was Baylor. I would say this is a 50-50 crowd at best, with maybe Baylor outnumbering UT fans. So shout out to the Baylor fans that made a trip up on the Tip-Off Club bus, working with their foundation. You have a lot of fans from here in DFW made the way over. A lot of green and gold here. I think outnumbering the Burnt Orange.
I absolutely think so, and thrilled to see it, because Baylor needs some of that energy right now, especially as Texas on that 13-2 run over the last 2 minutes and 57 seconds, and they're 7 of their last 7, because those have been super high percentage shots. It's not like they're pulling up and hitting mid-range jumpers, or they're pulling up from the 3. They are getting to the rim and getting layups right now because of the turnovers that Baylor's had, and just how difficult it is for the Bears right now to be able to operate in the half court when it's not a fast break situation or moving the basketball up front. They've just got to find a way to be able to adjust right now. And this is a good timeout to come for Baylor to be able to do some adjusting, especially on the defensive end and the way they take care of the basketball moving up the court.
Some early numbers in this one. Texas is 8 of 9 from the floor, just 1 miss. The Bears are 5 of 10. 1 of 3 from beyond the arc. The 3 by Kirsten Johnson. Rebounding right now, that's going to be key today. Both teams even at 3 apiece, although Texas does have 2 offensive rebounds. So things to watch here as this game rolls on. Right now, it is Talia Sidbury at the line. She is a good free throw shooter, 81%. And she hits the first. That's 10 straight scored by UT. The Bears got off to a good start, had an early 7-3 lead. She hits them both, and that makes it 20-11. Kyla Abraham in for the first time for the Bears. First substitution for Coach Nicky's squad. Jayla Van Geitenbeek breaks the pressure into the front court. She is being harassed by Jordan Lee, the sophomore for Vic Schaefer's squad. Talia Scott comes and gets it, puts it on the floor behind the back dribble, pulls up from the left elbow and misses the shot. Rebound tipped around but by Bugs, but Rory Harmon comes out of there with it. They're off and running into the front court. On the right wing, Jordan Lee dribbles to the middle of the floor, wants to spin inside and gets a Euro step, misses the scoop shot around Talia Scott. Bugs collects the rebound. Baylor trying to snap a 10-0 Texas run. Here is Van Geitenbeek feeding Bella Fowler in the corner, drives inside, lost the basketball out of bounds to Texas.
Oh, and those are the kinds of turnovers that just kill you when Texas really didn't do anything. It was just Bella saw a lane but just lost the handle on the basketball.
Here comes Texas into the front court. They lead the Bears by a score of 19-11. Rory Harmon, right wing. She hasn't been as much of a scorer this year, but they don't need her to be. They've got 4 double-digit scores out there right now. Here's Brea Cunningham, the Arizona transfer, missing a right-hand glasser from the right baseline. Here comes Van Geitenbeek into the front court, angles a pass ahead to Talia Scott on the left wing. Baylor down 19-11. Scott will unload a 3, misses. She's 0 for 4. Rebound again kept alive by the Bears, but controlled by Texas. Rory Harmon takes the outlet, bounces into the lane, and hits a jumper as she's fouled. It's all Texas in the last few minutes here, and Rory Harmon has a chance at a 3-point play. They've opened up a 10-point lead at 21-11. It'll be Markayla Johnson, the freshman in for the first time, giving Jenna Van Geitenbeek a breather. Turnovers piling up a bit. Baylor with 4, UT with just 1.
Yeah, Baylor's one of its last 8 shots with 4 turnovers during that time, and that's the scoring drought there as Harmon hits her free throw.
They're doubling up the Bears at 22-11. 3:10 to play in the opening quarter. Here's Bella Fowler taking the handoff, getting downhill, and as she feeds Markayla Johnson into the quarter, she's pushed aside by Texas. That's a foul.
Foul against Texas will be on number 32.
That'll go against Taya Sidbury, her first and the team second.
You know, we know Texas will be very physical, and until they start blowing the whistles, they're going to body up on you hard. And I was glad to see Bella get in there and just battle. And
well, as Baylor inbounds, Markayla Johnson is called for a travel. Looked like her hand got tangled up with someone, but there was no call against Texas. It's going back to the Longhorns with the basketball. They've scored 14 straight points. Now Rory Harmon with a last-second dish off to Brea Cunningham, who's blocked by Bella Fowler before she can hit the layup. Here's Talia Scott with a nice pass to Markayla Johnson, but she's blocked on her way up by the taller Sidbury. Oh, Baylor with a missed opportunity there. Sidbury dances into the front court. Ryder Madison Booker bangs her way inside. Buggs stays with her. She tries a turnaround that's in and out, and Dariana Little-Page Buggs high points her 4th rebound of this first quarter. 2.5 minutes to play. Feet ahead to Kyla Abraham, who fumbles the pass out of bounds.
well, everybody's got to be ready. Now, we're way up, and so I did not see exactly how that pass was to Kyla was entry. If it was something that was just too fast or off of her hands. But, oh, my goodness. Baylor has just had the opportunity and just cannot connect. They're just turning the basketball over.
2:15 to play first quarter. Lee has it for the Longhorns. Oh, a nice play as they find Sidbury beneath the basket, but she misses reverse layup. Good defense by the Bears. Maddie Booker battled Kyla Oldacre with an offensive rebound. Battle to get the ball away, but a foul is called on Bella Fauntleroy.
Second personal foul. 4th team foul against the Bears.
That is Bella Fauntleroy's second foul, and that's 4 on Baylor. Right now, Bella with 2 fouls. You don't like seeing that. The others on Van Geitenbeek and Buggs.
Yeah, especially since Bella just started getting into the flow of the game.
First free throw by Kyla Oldacre is good. Just a 64% free throw shooter, but she hits that one. And she's got one more coming. Right now, points off of turnovers. Texas with 5 as Oldacre rolls in the second. 5 points off the turnovers, and no second chance points for UT. Right now, they're just getting out in transition and hitting some buckets and really stifling Baylor defensively. And now Madison Booker bodies Talia Scott on her way to the bucket. And that will be a foul on Texas. That is their third. It's her first and the third on the Longhorns, and that is going to be a shooting foul. She was just starting her motion, so glad to see that they're giving Talia Scott the free throws, a 91% free throw shooter. She leads the nation in free throws made, and she floats in the first as pretty as could be.
Well, that's the first point for Baylor in the last 5 minutes.
That snaps the Texas run at 16 straight as Talia knocks them both down to make it 24-13. Here comes Texas after they made free throws, under 2 minutes to play here in the opening quarter of basketball. Rory Harmon bounces left elbow to Lee. Lee double teamed, breaks it, thought about a jumper, instead kicks it out to Rory Harmon. She's not a three-point shooter, passes up, gives it outside to Lee instead, and the kick out results in a three-point basket. That makes it 27-13 Texas as Baylor breaks the backcourt pressure, bugs into the front court, needs to find a guard to give it up to. She has it in front of the midcourt circle. We're down to 90 seconds to play in the first quarter. Ball knocked away. Bugs gets it back, puts it on the floor, loses it again. This possession is really going nowhere for the Bears right now. It's in the hands of Talia Scott. She's still about 40 feet from the basket, spins wildly inside, gets inside and Nope, she does not draw the foul. They call a travel? No. They call Talia Scott for the offensive foul. That is her first and the team's 5th. And the Baylor fans letting the officials know how they feel about that call. Let's see if we can get a look at the replay.
I can't tell where they called the foul. Was it that when Talia was making her move and got past Harmon, there was some contact? Is that when they called the foul?
It may be. I think Coach Nicky wants an explanation. The officials are discussing something here. You know, Talia Scott was leaning in for a layup when the whistle blew.
She put her hand out.
That's inadvertent.
Well, she wasn't even looking back, and so I don't know how you can say that is an intentional foul, or I think that's exactly what.
But I'm curious what they're reviewing here, Lori, because now are they trying to review? Are they saying the foul is the foul? They're trying to see if it's flagrant. So Talia Scott.
I don't know when they called the foul.
I don't either. Talia Scott at one point did grab a hold of Rory Harmon's upper shoulder near her face. But I say grab a hold. There was contact.
Yes.
She kind of threw her arm out as she was trying to get inside. It was inadvertent, totally inadvertent. And we'll see what they're reviewing here.
And that has to be what they're reviewing.
That has to be what they're reviewing. So I think they'll look at that and see it's inadvertent. You know, now they can't overturn the call. The call is the call. Maybe they'll see it was a bad call, but they can't do anything about that. I mean, she went running in. There was a lot of contact, and she got room. Her right arm went flying out, and she caught a little bit.
She makes a move right here.
Yeah. Roy Harmon sold it a little bit. I mean, by a little bit, I mean a lot.
Previous call was a common offensive foul stance.
Yeah, clearly.
Well, it should be.
You heard some,
But where did you call that? Did you call that where they run into number 32?
It's got to be the...
It is. It's not what happened there.
We'll see. Well,
I
Texas
think it's on Sidbury.
I would agree, but nothing we can do now, I guess, is Texas has the ball back up 27-13 with 1:05 to play in the opening quarter. Baylor has really struggled in the second half of this first quarter here, trying to get back in gear. Harmon takes the feed, drives inside, double-teamed, cut off, retreats to the free throw line, fires in a jumper. Boy, that was a reasonably well-defended shot, but she's got a good mid-range game, and she hit it. It's a 21-2 Texas run. They lead the Bears 29-13. Bugs into the front court with 40 seconds to play, 17 seconds between the clocks. Talia Scott off to a rough start offensively first quarter. 4 points on 1 of 5 shooting. She drives inside. She's tripped. There's no whistle. It's picked up off the floor. Texas with the steal. They can play for the last shot if they want. They may not want to. Lee tries a three from the right wing. No good. Offensive rebound. Oldacre has it blocked from behind. Got it back. Puts it up again and misses. And now Bugs collects the rebound in the crowd. Baylor can play for the last shot of the first quarter. Pass ahead to Markayla Johnson. Markayla pulls up for the mid-range jumper and misses. That's going to drive Coach Nikki crazy. Now Texas has the rebound. They can play for the last shot with 5. It's Booker with 4, with 3. Pulls up for the mid-range. Misses as the first quarter draws to a close. Well, some poor decisions from both teams there in the final 40 seconds. Doesn't end up hurting either one of them, but Lori, this first quarter in comes, I think, at a good time for the Bears. They need to regroup. Texas has scored 21 of the last 23 points.
Woo. You know, Baylor jumped out to that 9-4 lead, and it was just back and forth, Texas and Baylor. It looked like kind of a track meet in the early going, the way the points were being scored. But once the floodgates opened and Texas's physicality just really started to rear its head, and Baylor just could not either execute in the half court or take care of the basketball, that's when Texas pounced, and that is why they have a 14-point lead. A 16-point lead here at the end of the first quarter.
Hey, Bears fans, this basketball season, make Pepsi your go-to game day drink because it's the only drink for basketball watching. Pepsi, that's what I like. Proud partner of Baylor Athletics. At the end of one, Texas 29, Baylor 13. That's the score in Fort Worth on the Baylor Sports Media Network. Well, that was not good. You had more time. You let Booker get a shot off.
We had streaming fixed, but I'm not sure of it yet.
Thank you for your work on that, Dan.
Well, I've rebooted it several times, and I think I finally got it right.
Okay, my dad actually just texted and said it's working now. So there you go.
Oh, good. Thank your dad for me.
We'll do.
I've been wanting to hear somebody say it's
good. It's good. Yep.
72 months. 3.9%.
Weird. It was just a second, man. Hold just a second here. We're good now. Sorry, just a second. Okay, Lori. We hit 5 field goals in the first 3 minutes, and none since.
Yes.
So
Let's be friends.
I mean, it was just a mess.
You're listening to Baylor Women's Basketball on the Baylor Sports Media Network.
Well, rough first quarter for the Bears here in Fort Worth. Baylor, number 13 in the nation, has 13 points, but Texas, the nation's number 2 squad, has 29. The defensive pressure really got to the Bears, who have gone 7 minutes and 1 second without a field goal. So, Louis, Baylor is 5 for 14 from the floor. So think about this for a minute. That means that Baylor scored 5 field goals in the first 3 minutes of the game. Baylor is out to a 9-4 lead, off to a hot start. The thing has just gone ice cold since then. 7:01. Colin Porto tells us without a field goal. That's going to have to change, and the defensive effort is going to have to pick up. And I will say, it did at the end of the first quarter. Texas hit 8 of their first 9 shots, which means they've hit just 3 of their last 12. So you're going to need more 3 of 12 stretches from Texas as the Bears try to get back into this game as we move to the second quarter.
You know, if you look at Baylor, they went 5 for their first 8. Actually, they were 4 for their first 4, and were just moving the ball up and down the floor. But after that time, if you look at that, 5 of 8, and you only had 14 shots in that first quarter after then, Baylor just could not manufacture any shots. That's because they also were turning the basketball over. They were 0 for 6. Just 6 shot attempts in about the last 2/3 of the first quarter. That's just tough when you can't get a shot. You're not making any shots, but also you're just making it too easy for Texas.
Leading scorer for the Bears is Dariana Little-Page Bug. She's got 6 points, 6 rebounds, so she's well on her way to a double-double after a quarter. 4 for Talia Scott, 3 for Kirsten Johnson. No one else has scored. Texas very balanced. 6 for Jordan Lee, 5 for Rory Harmon, 4 apiece for Justice Carlton, Maddie Booker, Taya Sidbury, and Kyla Oldacre. 2 for Brea Cunningham.
You look at points in the paint, too, and that is 20 points for Texas in the paint. That's because they've been getting to the rim. Just getting to the rim, and Baylor turning the basketball over 8 times, and 9 points off of that for the Texas Longhorns. That's just definitely not sustainable. And now Baylor will have the ball to begin the second quarter, and hopefully they've had a chance to do some of that. Coach Nikki, her board.
She's drawn it up.
Let's.
Ooh. Well, I don't think that's what she drew up. Baylor's going to keep the ball, but and
that is typical Texas there. You try to throw the basketball back towards their goal, and they're going to pounce on that every single time. That's what they did. They were really bothering Jana Van Geitenbeek there. Now, as Texas knocks the ball out beyond the baseline, Baylor's going to have to play it in there. Texas applying pressure, but Baylor breaks. Van Geitenbeek gallops into the front court, tries to lob it down low, and is called for an offensive foul. But Jana had to know there. You just can't go crashing in. I don't remember who was on the other side of her who needed really to present themselves and to get themselves open as an outlet for that pass. Jana really had nowhere else to go.
Here is Madison Booker running the point at the moment. Texas with the ball on a 29-13 lead. Sidbury has it high on the right side, bounces on the floor to Booker. Booker drives inside the right elbow and buries the jumper. Texas is up by a game-high 18 points. They lead the Bears 31-13. Now they harass the Bears in the backcourt and knock the ball away. Kayla Nelms is in for the first time. Right now, Baylor is just really struggling to get anything going offensively. And by anything, I mean even right now, having trouble getting the ball in. Texas harassing in the backcourt. Now Baylor bounces it with a well-designed inbounds play to Buggs into the front court. Buggs hands it off. No, she doesn't. She tried to hand it off to Jana Van Geitenbeek. Jordan Lee knocked the ball away, stole it, and then Buggs, it looked like, knocked the ball off of Lee.
That's what I thought, too. I thought Lee had touched the basketball.
But it says, they say Texas ball on the floor, and the Baylor fans are yelling. Let's see if
they're looking. Even the coaches and the grad students are.
Well, Texas is going to maintain possession. They lob it into Oldacre, muscles her way inside and misses the layup, and then she's bailed out by a foul call that came a day and a half after the play ended. And Baylor was starting to grab the rebound and move, but a foul is called. And that's going to send Oldacre to the line. Well, Oldacre, let's see here.
Bugs?
Yeah, we'll see here in a minute. They're a little behind on both the call on the floor.
Oh, yeah, because they have a foul on the team, so even
seriously?
Okay, all right.
Since the 64% shooting Oldacre to the free throw line, her first rattles out. She was 2 of 2 the first time, but misses here. Not quite a minute into the second quarter. All Texas in the early going. They lead the Bears 31-13, and now 32-13 as Oldacre converts the second, 1 of 2. Yeah, Baylor's struggling with the turnovers, Lloyd. They've turned it over now 10 times to Texas's 1.
Yeah, and it's the toughness, and Texas gets over screens. We just got to be better with screens and look for that double team that's coming.
There's a pass outside to Van Geitenbeek. She won't take a three, drives inside instead, and is fouled. That'll be Justice Carlton.
A foul?
Is that allowed?
No, it's finally that Baylor put the ball on the floor and attacked and actually had Texas in a place where they had the foul.
Texas leads 32-13. And the foul is on Justice Carlton, her first. Inbounds to Markayla Johnson. Pull up from the mid-range. Perfect. Looked like she absorbed contact. There was no whistle, but she hit the mid-range jumper. That is Baylor's first field goal since the 7-minute mark of the first quarter. And that makes it 32-15.
And that's a good look because that's Markayla's shot, that pull-up jumper on the baseline.
And then Markayla ties up Maddie Booker, and that's going to give it back to the Bears.
And Markayla's an energy player for Baylor. She certainly is. She comes in there, and I love how she fires herself up and talks to herself and then makes a heads-up play. And it may be because she knows what happened at the end of the first quarter wasn't ideal for Baylor, and they needed to take time off the clock. And she immediately comes in and makes 2 plays.
Beg your pardon, possession arrow remains with Texas, but the possession arrow goes back Baylor's way. Texas with the ball up 32-15. 8.5 to play first half. Roy Harmon drives inside and is called for the offensive foul. A push off on Harmon. Her first and the team's second. Lori, this Texas team is legit. They've beat 4 top 25 teams already this year. They are every bit the top 2 team in the nation, and they've given Baylor their best shot here early, and Baylor has struggled with it. But let's see if Baylor can settle in and throw a punch as well as Talia Scott angles into the front court, and she's bodied by Kyla Oldacre. That's a foul on Oldacre, her first, the team's third. Lori, I'll give you a tip I've learned here at Dickey's Arena, which, by the way, this is a fantastic arena, a beautiful arena here in Fort Worth. Boy, you and I are seated, fans walk in front of us. That video board up there, just dart your eyes. Right up there. We've got a fantastic view of that as well.
Well, I decided I'm just going to stand up.
There we go. 32-15. Here's Markayla Johnson feeding Bugs outside the arc. Up top to Nelm. She's open. Lets the three fly. It's too strong. Rebound spiked by KJ and then fumbled out of bounds by Roy Harmon.
Yeah, that's all right. KJ battled for that rebound. And that gives Baylor another 20 seconds and another possession.
Inbound comes to Bugs. 8 minutes to play, second quarter. There's a feed to Scott on the left wing. She misses. And Baylor steals the ball after Texas rebounds. KJ knocks the pass away, gets it back. Bugs will unload a three, way too strong. They could have let the offense reset there. Bugs a little too excited there.
But again, they're going to let you shoot that one.
Bugs has 6 points and 6 rebounds here early. Baylor is down by 17 points in the second quarter. 2.5 minutes gone. Here is Harmon. Rory Harmon bounces it along the left baseline to Booker, the SEC Player of the Year last year, misses a short jumper. Bugs collects her 7th rebound. Here is Talia Scott bouncing into the front court. Texas staying with her defensively to the left wing. She's pushed back outside. Feeds Nelms, who hands it back to her. Long three is short, but she got the bounce. There we go. Talia Scott with her first field goal and 7 attempts. Make it 2 as her second field goal in 7 attempts.
All right.
And that makes it 32-18.
All right, so Baylor's up 2 here in the second quarter, 5-3. And, he'll take that. Some fight from the Bears.
Here is Booker driving inside, point up from the mid-range. It rattles out, but then falls back home.
Well, she was really challenged from Nelms. I'm glad to see Nelms step up and get in the face of Booker.
And now a foul. Talia Scott is hit by Rory Harmon. That's Harmon's second foul. And you like seeing that second foul. You hope that Talia Scott absorbs that all right. They are calling more fouls here in the second quarter. They've called 2 on Baylor, 4 on UT. As we see substitutions, Nelms and KJ out. Abraham is in for the Bears, along with Yuting Dunn in for the first time. Here is Talia Scott, loses the ball, but that's due to a foul, and now Baylor will be shooting the penalty for the final 6:29 here of the opening half.
Well, it will be interesting to see who they call that on, because Talia was trying to step through a double team, and I don't know if it was Cunningham or Oldacre.
Oldacre is the call. Oldacre's second and the team's 5th, and it's going to send Talia Scott to the line.
And that is a positive for Baylor.
Oldacre is a load there. She is a very sizable player for UT that eats up a lot of paint as Scott hits the first free throw. She's got one more coming, and right now both Harmon and Oldacre with 2 fouls apiece. Didn't see Yuting Dunn in the first quarter, but she's out there now. One more free throw coming for Scott. It also is good.
All right, let's just make sure we compete here in this 10-minute frame.
6:25 to play first half. Baylor down 34-20. Texas with the ball. Booker has it on the left side. There's a pass across to Sidbury. They're going to swing it out to Lee again. Lee's their best three-point shooter. She gives it to Harmon. 10 seconds to shoot. In the corner, Lee unloads a 3. Misses. Rebound tipped and controlled by Bugs.
Well, Baylor was in a zone defense.
Well, you don't see that a ton, but we saw it there. Here is Talia Scott, has the ball knocked away by Harmon, a 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, but she gets it back. Here is Bugs, swinging it right side to Dunn. Dunn spins, maintains possession of the basketball, loses it, gets it back, feeds Markayla Johnson down low. This is a wild possession. Markayla Johnson dribbling clock away, 5 seconds to shoot. Abraham to Dunn. She's going to have to unload a rough 3, and it's an air ball. Well contested there by Dunn, and really just a little too much dribbling once the shot clock got inside of 10 seconds. Baylor trails by 14, trying to get another defensive stop. UT up 34-20 with 5.5 to play in the opening half. Booker lobs it in the post. Down low. Ian is Cunningham. Cunningham forces up a well-contested shot. Misses off the glass. Rebound by Abraham. Here come the Bears trying to cut into that 14-point deficit. Here's Talia Scott, harassed by Roy Harmon. This is a good test for Talia Scott, and she tries to feed a pass across to Buggs. It is stolen. Nearly a travel, and that is a travel by Brea Cunningham.
Boy, Layla Buggs just sticking with it. Even though she knew that pass was going to be picked off, she just stayed right there with Cunningham, knocked the basketball out of her hands, and when she caught it, she could not stop. Took those extra steps, and Baylor gets it back.
Halfway through the second quarter, we'll have a timeout on the next dead ball. Talia Scott struggling offensively against the defensive Roy Harmon here in the first half. Drives inside, tries to put up a shot, loses it. Here's Texas in transition. They nearly turn it over, and they do turn it over. And then as Markayla Johnson grabs the loose ball, she is fouled, and that's going to send her to the free throw line. They tried to outlet ahead to Lee, who fumbled the pass. She chased it down along the baseline, slung it backwards, and then as Markayla Johnson grabbed it, she was fouled by Madison Booker. And don't look now, but that is Booker's second foul here as well. 34-20 is our score. Texas with the lead at our second quarter media timeout. The 2025-26 women's basketball season is presented by Central National Bank, proudly serving Central Texans in Waco, Temple, and Austin. Bank different. Bank Central. Central National Bank. The Bears trying to work their way out of a 14-point second half deficit here on the Baylor Sports Media Network.
Okay, 14.
What are we? Well, perhaps we will keep it right here. We will talk to our producer, Van Good. I'll make sure we're good here, but sorry about that.
Caring for Central Texans since 2004. Blue Bonnet is.
I was on the phone with John.
Okay.
And the most.
So I guess XM is having some issues
every day.
Yeah, they were having the same problem your dad was having. And tell him a profuse thank you from me.
I will. And he said he heard you. He heard you over the video stream. You're good on air, but he heard you over the video stream and said he appreciates you working to get that up there.
Okay.
Cash.
Yeah. Well, anyway, it's fixed and XM's getting it just fine. It's all working.
Good. I appreciate that.
Phone's going honkers.
Refund fees from other banks' ATMs. Enjoy free reward checking.
It has its own mind.
Of a new cashback season. It's an easy bank shot.
Sorry. Over here during all this, there's been a lot of back and forth. And I appreciate John called to get him in on that. All right, then. Now, sir, hopefully you can just settle in now. Hopefully we're all everything's good.
Everybody can relax.
Yeah.
You're listening to Baylor Women's Basketball on the Baylor Sports Media Network.
Back here at Dickies Arena, the Sprouts Farmers Market ESPNW Invitational in Fort Worth. Baylor trailing Texas by a score of 34-20. The Longhorns have led by as many as 19. The Bears playing better here in the second half, and in fact, they've held Texas without a point for just over 2 minutes and forced 4 turnovers in the last 4:29. Loria, Texas unleashed on Baylor for about the final 7 minutes. Really, I'll say 6 of the final 7 minutes of the first quarter, and Baylor did not handle it well. Now they're kind of settling in. The key is, can you not only settle in, but can you play that much better than Texas? You know, think about it. This is a Texas team that scores 93 points a game. They have a top 20 national defense. Now Baylor has a top 10 national defense in every major category. But really, your goal, starting with, let's say, about over the last 33 minutes of the game, you got to outscore Texas by 20. That's your charge. And if this young Bears team can do it, that's impressive. I think we saw, Lori, a Baylor team that, you know, you look at this roster, 12 players, there's really only 2 who are back in a similar role they had last year, Buggs and Bella. I think you could kind of say that for Kyla, only a bigger role. But everywhere else on the floor, you've got players stepping into new roles or their first year with the team. It looked like it. It looked like it there for about a 6-minute stretch. Now let's see if they can play more cohesively. And I think grow as you try to win this game. Growth is something that would naturally be an outgrowth of that. As Markayla goes to the free throw line, the first free throw is too strong, as she'll get one more. That's really what you're trying to do here over the last 25 minutes of this game now.
And, this is critical for Baylor to be able to knock down free throws since they will be in the bonus the rest of this second quarter.
Boy, Markayla still struggling with her shot. She misses them both. And Cunningham with the rebound. She hit a mid-range jump earlier, but just really struggling with the free throws this season. She's down at 35% from the stripe. Here's Rory Harmon feeding it inside to Cunningham. The ball is knocked away. It's out of bounds to Baylor.
Bella, but
is that Kyla?
It was Kyla Abraham who stick her hand in there in that passing lane, knocked the basketball away.
Texas has turned over 5 times here in the second quarter. Baylor off of those turnovers has scored, though, just 2 points. Inbounds to Van Geitenbeek, harassed by Rory Harmon. Here's Jen a little over a year after an ACL injury, facing one of the top defenders in the nation. It's Markayla feeding it to Buggs. Turns and faces the bucket outside the arc. Crossover dribble to the free throw line. She likes that spot, but she left the jumper a little short. Rebound from Cunningham, sent over to Madison Booker. Here comes Texas with the ball, up 34-20. Booker gets downhill. A little flip layup is good.
That's just too easy for Booker to be able to have a lane like that.
That makes it 36-20. The Longhorns are up by 16 points. Abraham with a hard screen. That gives Van Geitenbeek room to feed it to Markayla Johnson, but she's called for the offensive foul. Charges on Jordan Lee as she tries to drive from the wing to the paint. That's Markayla's first and the team's third.
13 foul against the Bears.
And here comes Texas. They are playing with Harmon, Carlton, Booker, Lee, and Cunningham. Cunningham, by the way, had a double-double against the Bears in Arizona, game the Bears won in overtime in Tucson last January. But now transferring to Austin. There's a lob down low, way too tall for Carlton.
Way too tall for Carlton.
Yeah.
You don't see that kind of pass from Rory Harmon very often, but maybe the zone defense from Baylor just was a little bit difficult.
Well, and then Baylor throws the inbound pass away to Carlton. Kick out to Leo. She's wide open and hits a 3. Well, don't turn the ball over, and that doesn't happen, but the Bears did. Texas harassing in the backcourt again. They're trying to close the second quarter like they did the first. They're back up by 19 points again, matching their biggest lead just like that at 39-20. Van Geitenbeek with the shot clock down to 16 is near midcourt. Harassed by Lee. Gets inside. Kicks it to Dunn in the corner. Ting for 3. Shoots it over everything. Buggs had a hand on the rebound, but loses it as she falls down. Harmon into the front court. Kick out to Booker. Catch and shoot 3. Airballs it. And the rebound out of bounds to Baylor. Boy, she got a good look at a 3 and left it about 2 feet short from the left wing. Bears will not complain about that. But Texas again harassing in the backcourt. The Bears are having trouble. They play it into Kyla Abraham, who zings it over to Buggs across midcourt. A quick 5-0 burst by the Longhorns. The Bears are trying to stop. Team takes the feed, drives inside, flips it up and in. Oh, nice play there by Ting Dunn. A little finger roll from the first-year player for the Bears.
Yeah, I'm glad she just put the ball on the floor and attacked then. She didn't look for any kind of an outlet. She just went straight in, and that was a sweet shot.
Booker takes a bounce pass on the right wing, misses, but an offensive rebound by Brea Cunningham results in a putback. That makes it 41-22, and now a foul called against the Longhorns as Markayla Johnson bodied against the sideline. Jordan Lee called for the foul, her second. Now, Lori, let's keep this game as close as we can for the Bears' standpoint, and if you look at this right now, Oldacre, Harmon, Lee, and Booker, 4 of their top 6 players all have 2 fouls. Could you get a third on one of them before the first half is closed? Could you get a third on a couple of them? That could move the map ever so slightly. Markayla Johnson goes to the free throw line where she was 0 of 2 a moment ago. The true freshman will try to hit one here, and she does.
Oh, you could tell that one was going in. That one looked nice and smooth from Markayla from the line.
One more coming. It's up. And nice. It's good. Hit them both. Good to see. 17-point game again. Baylor is 6 of 8 from the free throw line. Texas is 7 of 9. Longhorns with the basketball at 41-24. Here's Lee on the right wing. Up top to Harmon. Harmon to the free throw line, retreats, gives it to Lee on the opposite wing this time, and she misses the open three. Bug skies for the rebound. She's harassed, falls on the floor and grabs it, and a jump ball is called. Possession arrow is going Baylor's way.
Possession Baylor.
Boy, Bug's already at 9 rebounds in addition to 6 points.
And no one else has more than one on the Baylor team. If it's not Bugs pulling down the rebound, it's not anybody else. And that is a key stat.
Here is Jana Van Geitenbeek trying to get it going. She has 3 assists and 3 turnovers, which against Texas, that might be a little par for the course. You like the 3 assists from
nice.
Jana. Here's a nice bounce pass to Markayla Johnson, but she thought about the open layup and missed it. Oh, you could see the hesitation. She had it right there, but couldn't finish. Now Booker the other way, kisses it off, glass it in. That's a 4-point swing, and Longhorns match their biggest lead again at 43-24. Here's Van Geitenbeek the other way, around the screen, bounces to the top of the arc. We're down to 1:15 to play in the first half. Van Geitenbeek crosses over, gets downhill, cut off, looking for a teammate, gives it outside to Markayla Johnson. Markayla Johnson angles to the center of the floor, drives inside, dribbles the ball off her foot. It's stolen away by Texas. That is 15 Baylor turnovers here in the first half. Madison Booker dishes it off to Brea Cunningham nicely, and they've got their biggest lead of the day at 21 points at 45-24. Points off of turnovers, picking up a little bit now, more than just a little bit. Texas scored 17 points off of Baylor miscues. 19 seconds to shoot for the Bears, 40 seconds to play here in the first half. Van Geitenbeek slings it to Buggs. Buggs drives inside, retreats to the left wing, angles to the middle of the floor, calling for Ting to take it. She does, sets her feet, unloads a 3, and it's good. Ting done with 5 second quarter points, and that makes it 45-27. Texas can play for the last shot. Shot clock is dark here with 17 seconds to play in the second quarter. Texas has outscored Baylor by 2. The Bears are going to try to head into the locker room with a defensive stop. Booker has it high on the left side of the floor, slings it right wing to Harmon, drives inside, pulls up for a little follow away and misses. Ting with the rebound, and that's the way the first half draws to a close. Well, a tough first half for the Bears as Texas has been the better team for about the last 17 minutes. And Baylor is going to head into the locker room and see if they can regroup. We've seen stretches, Lori. We've seen stretches. A good stretch, I would say, to start the game. The first 3 minutes, there was a good stretch from about the final minute of the first quarter to about the, the media time out of the second quarter. Baylor's got to find a way to harness that 6 minutes or so for really the final 20 to find a way to come back in this way.
That is true, and I think right now Texas has just taken Baylor's ability to push the basketball up the floor. That press is really causing Baylor fits, and that's taken that opportunity away to score and get to the rim. But maybe that blinked a little bit, but being able to compete is still there. You've got Texas in a little bit of foul trouble. You've got Baylor, who should be back into the lineup, coming back after sitting out with 2 fouls. And so we'll see what kind of fight Baylor has over the next 20 minutes.
Our Nissan halftime report is coming up here from Fort Worth at intermission. Our score, Texas 45, Baylor 27. Want to say hello to all of you watching on our Next Link Courtside cam. Next Link, reliable high-speed internet for your home or business. Appreciate you all watching today. As we've reached intermission, Bears have the work cut out for them, down 45-27 to Texas here on the Baylor Sports Media Network.
Has your dad had any more trouble with the screen?
Nope, I think it's all been good. And I think John likes what he's heard on XM, so appreciate all your work on that, man. That's no fun, but I appreciate you jumping in on all that.
Started buffering there in the last few minutes, but it's been fine for the last 5 to 10 minutes ago. It was buffering. It's been fine since then.
Good. I appreciate it.
Worried.
Why Green Eye Associates is voted best in Waco year after year.
You know you're on it.
Exceptional service and care.
Yeah, I tried. Boy, I've never, I think I told Tom, I said, I've never seen this happen before when it's playing the loop. I checked it and it sounds just odd. It's doing the right thing. And then it starts over.
Our dry eye therapies that were
thank you for that.
Face would save 90.
It's bizarre, but I at least know what can happen now.
Optometrist of Baylor Athletics.
I plan to text Ward and Gary
Thank you.
With a new Toyota, like RAV4, Grand Highlander, and Corolla Cross. But to really get in the spirit, let's see about it.
All right, I don't want to see this.
So without further ado,
Get another channel.
the snow in a new
watch something else.
To the slopes we go in a Highlander forestry day. I can't
This jump rope thing happened on the forestry is pretty impressive.
Makes the kids go loco. Oh, what fun it
Got a
is
jump
to
rope
play.
too?
Holiday wishes come true. Toyota Thon, Toyota Thon, Toyota Thon is on. Oh, what fun it is to drive a new Toyota today. Hey!
Now, my jump rope game in Thursday wasn't like that.
Yeah. I thought it was pretty good, though.
If I ever did that,
Toyota.
that was totally by
During Toyota Thon, qualified buyers can get 2.99% APR financing for 72 months on a rugged 2026 Tesla. Offer available in select states only. You're listening to live coverage of Baylor women's basketball. Now, it's time for the Nissan Halftime Show. Brought to you by Central National Bank, proud season sponsor of Baylor women's basketball. Texas Farm Bureau Insurance, championship partner of Baylor Athletics. Visit Texas Farm Bureau Insurance online to find a local agent today. Nissan, innovation that excites. Lidman, America's trusted brand name in cleaning. Premier ER and Urgent Care. Feel better now. Stay tuned as we break down the first half. Check in on scores and more. All coming up on the Baylor Sports Media Network.
At intermission, Texas 45, Baylor 27. That's the score here as the second-ranked Longhorns put together a 23-2 run, bridging late in the first quarter to open up at times as many as a 21-point lead. It is at 18 right now. We welcome you back into Dickies Arena in Fort Worth, home side of the Sprouts Farmers Market ESPNW Invitational alongside Lori Fogelman. I'm Derek Smith. Van Goodall, our producer in Waco. Van, we appreciate all of your work here, navigating some technical issues, trying to keep things running as smoothly as possible. Van, we appreciate your work on that. Here it is 45-27, and really there's two stats that stand out in this one, Lori. Before we give you the overall stats, the big one is points off of turnovers. Texas has 17. Now, that's what they do. This year, they're averaging around 30 points per game off of turnovers. They've outscored Baylor 17-2 off of turnovers, so in an 18-point game, 15 points of their margin have come off of turnovers. They also have an advantage in the paint, 26 points to 8 for the Bears. Those are two clear areas that Baylor's going to have to get better in, because there's been long stretches of the game where their harassing defense has just really taken Baylor out of things offensively.
Yeah, it certainly has. And you look at how many, sorry, I've lost my stats monitor, but 18 made baskets for Texas. 10 of those were layups. And so that shows you the points in the paint with 26, and then a fast break. Texas is outscoring Baylor on a fast break 20-0. So you can really see where the pain points are for Baylor right now. They've done a relatively good job at hitting the boards, but it's just those things that Texas does so well, being able to turn you over and get easy buckets at the rim right now, that Baylor's just got to find a way to change that course over the next 20 minutes.
Texas is hitting 51% of their field goals. They average 52% on this season. They're 51% today, 18 of 35. Baylor 35%, 9 of 26. Baylor 3 of 10 from downtown. Texas 2 of 6. Both teams good at free throw line. Baylor 6 of 8. Texas 7 of 9. Baylor with 15 turnovers. They've turned Texas over 7 times, and as we mentioned, the Longhorns have outscored them off those turnovers 17-2. Rebounding is close. Texas has an 18-16 edge on the boards, 4-3 on the offensive glass. Second chance points not a factor in this game. Texas 4, Baylor with 2. Individual numbers for the Longhorns. Madison Booker
leads all scorers with 12 points on 6 of 11 shooting. She has 5 rebounds and 2 assists. 9 points for Jordan Lee, including 2 3-pointers. After that, 6 for Brea Cunningham, 2 rebounds, 5 apiece for Rory Harmon, and for Kyla Oldacre. Harmon with 3 assists. 4 points for Taya Sidbury, 4 for Justice Carlton. For the Bears, Talia Scott leads the way with 9 points on 2 of 8 shooting, 4 of 4 from the line, 1 of 3 from beyond the arc. 6 points for Dariana Little-Page Bugs to go along with 9 rebounds. She leads all rebounders in this game. After that, for the Bears, 5 for Yuting Dunn, who had a nice second quarter off the bench. 4 for Markayla Johnson. 3 points for Kirsten Johnson. KJ playing in her home area. She's a Duncanville native here, the only Texas native on this Baylor roster. See her family down here below. Jana Van Geitenbeek didn't score, take a shot, but she did have 3 assists in the first quarter. Kaylin Nelms and Bella Fauntleroy did not score in the first half. Bella Fauntleroy picked up 2 fouls in the first quarter and did not play in the second quarter. Fouls something to watch with UT. Kyla Oldacre, Rory Harmon, Jordan Lee, and Madison Booker all have 2 apiece. That all adds up to a 45-27 Texas lead at intermission. We're going to take a look at other games here in just a moment when we come back to Dickies Arena in Fort Worth. This is the Nissan Halftime Report. Nissan, innovation that excites. Texas by 18 at halftime in Fort Worth on the Baylor Sports Media Network. Well, I think if we do just a couple of minutes here, we're good here. Okay. So I'm going to be back real quick, but I'll turn this audio for the online feedback up.
Okay.
All right. I'll just always turn down and make sure you're ready for that.
Sure.
So, all right.
The Baylor Bookstore and the Spirit Shop at upcoming Golden Days. Stay up to date on all your golden opportunities to create an electric home atmosphere by visiting BaylorBears.com/GoGold. Sick 'em Bears.
Hellboy Barbecue is a family-owned business started here in Waco, Texas, and proud to serve the local area. They love to cater all kinds of events, big and small. Serving Baylor and its families is one of their favorite things, and they even ship barbecue nationwide. Check them out while here in Waco or online and support one of Waco's local barbecue restaurants, Hellberg Barbecue. Salt, pepper, and a whole lot of prayer.
Hi, I'm Jim Turner at Jim Turner Chevrolet in McGregor. As we celebrate our 10th year anniversary, I want to say thank you to all of our customers. Our dealership is more than a business to me. That's why when you come see us for reliable new Chevy or award-winning service, we treat you like family. Come see our new collision center, now open to serve you even better for many years to come. Enjoy the game. Please come see us at Jim Turner Chevrolet in McGregor. Together, let's ride.
Proudly serving Texas since 2007, Magnolia Realty is a full-service brokerage and a trusted neighbor, bridging expert industry knowledge with integrity and kindness. Known for their award-winning agents, Magnolia Realty understands the dynamics of making the real estate journey your own and the importance of trust from contract to close. You can find those agents in Waco and across the state, including in Dallas, Fort Worth, Austin, San Antonio, and Tampa.
Come to the side. Come to our side.
Cheers to home.
Fox Sports Radio, 93.9 K230 CK and KRMX HD3 Waco. You're listening to Baylor Women's Basketball on the Baylor Sports Media Network.
Back here at Dickies Arena in Fort Worth, the Sprouts Farmers Market Invitational. And Texas leading Baylor 45-27 at the half. Baylor's next game at home will be on December 18th against Southern at 7 o'clock. And we hope to see you back home in Foster Pavilion. And also the Baylor men will be back in action as well. They will be at home again on Friday. So back-to-back games for the Baylor men and the Baylor women. On Friday night, the Baylor Bears will take on Alcorn State. That's at 7 o'clock. So don't miss Southern and Baylor women's basketball on Thursday at 7 p.m. And then Friday night, Baylor and Baylor men's basketball in Alcorn State
also at 7 o'clock. It's a full day of women's basketball in the Big 12 Conference. UCF hosting Morgan State, Denver at Kansas, Miami, Ohio at Colorado, Texas Tech hosts Abilene Christian, West Virginia on the road at Texas A&M, Kansas State at Creighton, Arizona State will visit Oregon State, Utah hosts Northwestern, TCU here in Fort Worth at 4 o'clock. They will play Jacksonville, and then Northern Iowa will visit number 10, Iowa State. Again, our score at the half here at the Sprouts Farmers Market Invitational at Dickies Arena in Fort Worth. It's Texas 45, Baylor 27. We'll be back with the second half in just a moment and get you ready for the next 20 minutes. Again, you are listening to Baylor Women's Basketball on the Baylor Sports Media Network.
Today we have two very special guests on our program, introducing Len and Lime. For Starry Lemon Limestone.
Thanks for having us.
What is Starry Lemon Limestone?
It's a crisp, clear burst of lemon lime flavor, and it's caffeine free.
Between us, one of you must be a little more important to Starry than the other. Who is it?
We're both important.
So we can just that easily be Starry Lime Lemon Soda.
This is sound. Oh, I like it. So you saying hip-hop could be popular. Works for me.
Starry Lemon Lime Soda. Starry hits different.
All right, I'm back.
Do you need some more water?
Are you going down there?
Yeah,
I'll take another one. I'll take another one. Thank you.
Since 2004.
Is there another way to get down there? Or do I
Not
just
that I
have to
know
go?
of.
Okay, all right, I'm going to run.
Okay, you're good. Do what you got to do.
Care and integrity. They provide hands-on attention to their patients through a staff with years of experience. Bluebonnet Health Services provides home health care, supportive care, and your choice for Bluebonnet Health Services.
Switch to NextLink Internet. With NextLink, there are no data caps and no drop-ins, with super fast internet speeds up to 1 gig over wireless and standard. NextLink isn't so don't wait another minute. Give NextLink a call or go online to nextlinkconnect.com to see what special offers are for you. The latest fast internet, quick
Presented by Green Eye Associates. Fans 12 and under can register for the low cost of $20. Get restricted benefits and access to their members receive and an own membership package. To register your cub, please visit BaylorBears.com/cub. Sign your cub up.
Baylor Sports Media Network. Brought to you by TFNZ, the official voice of Baylor Athletics. To find a local agent as we get set for the second half action with the Baylor Bears. As we rejoin Derek Smith live from the booth, bringing you the second half of action and more. All coming up on the Baylor Sports Media Network.
Well, an injury update here as we start the second half. Talia Scott is not out with her teammates as she was fouled on the way to the basket earlier. She has sustained what looks like an ankle injury and didn't play the remainder of the first half, and it remains in the locker room as we start the second half. So we hope this is not serious, but we just don't know. We'll wait and see, but obviously it's not ideal that she's not out there right now as Baylor will begin the second half with Markayla Johnson out there in her place. So it is Texas on offense to start the second quarter as Justice Carlton misses a mid-range jumper here, and Jenna Van Geitenbeek collects the rebound. Dariana Littlepage Buggs has it for the Bears, gives it to Bella Fauntleroy. Here's a kick out to Van Geitenbeek. Jana on the drive, gets inside, kicks it out to Bella. Shot clock is at 10. In the corner, Markayla Johnson has it, slings it into the corner. Here's a three from Jana Van Geitenbeek that's good. That cuts the lead to 15 as the Bears score first in the second half. And again, if you're just joining us, we didn't get a good look at this in the first half, but Talia Scott sustained what appears to be an injury, and she remains in the locker room here as we start the second half. Here's a nearly lost the basketball by Lee, but she sustains it. Rory Harmon bounces it to Cunningham. Now back out Lee to Carlton to the right baseline with the shot clock at 2. Misses a jumper. The rebound, though, is grabbed by Brea Cunningham, and then she is met at the rim and blocked out of bounds by Kirsten Johnson. Kirsten Johnson, who leads the Big 12 in blocked shots. She gets one here in front of her home crowd. Well, she comes by a natural disdain of Texas after playing at Oklahoma for the first 3 years of her career. Inbounds to Madison Booker, and she hits a catch-and-shoot jumper from the top of the key. That makes it 47-30 in favor of Texas. Baylor playing here in the second half right now without Talia Scott. We'll see if we can get an update on her, but quickly Bella Fowler answers with a free throw line jumper in a crowd. She knocks it down to make it 47-32.
Well, welcome back to the lineup. We've needed you, Bella Fowler.
Here's Rory Harmon lobbing down low to Cunningham. Good position, but she missed the layup. Rebound hits the floor. Oh, and the Bears caught napping, and they find Cunningham down low for the layup.
Boy, Baylor has that one on film, having done that before. You just got to pay attention. Texas attacks all the way around.
Baylor is down by 17. Here's KJ cutting to the basket, and she misses the layup. Oh, she was wide open and missed. That's 2 open layups Baylor has missed in this one. The first one resulted in a 4-point swing. Let's see if Baylor can get a defensive stop here. Rory Harmon angles to the middle of the floor, directs traffic, and sends Booker over to the right wing. Here's it down to 7 seconds to shoot. Rory Harmon has the ball knocked away by Markayla Johnson. It's sent into the backcourt. 2 seconds to shoot. Half-court shot by Harmon, and she nearly hit it. Offensive rebound, Carlton, and she puts it back up and in. They have to shoot a half-court shot, nearly hit it, and then get 2 points out of it anyway. Then the Bears turn it over. Texas in transition. Harmon gallops into the front court, finds Carlton down low for a layup, and they're back up by 21 points at 53-32. 3 minutes into the second half. Baylor playing without Talia Scott, so obviously already a tough game gets even tougher as Dariana Littlepage-Buggs is fouled going after a pass by Carlton. She stumbles into the chair, but she's okay. That's Carlton's second personal, the first on the Longhorns in this third quarter. So we didn't have a look at this from where we are in the first half, but Talia Scott, when she was fouled, was actually helped into the locker room with an ankle injury. So our hope is that this is not as serious as it looks as Baylor turns it over again. A feed to Buggs is stolen by Carlton, who drives inside and misses the layup. Good defensive pressure from Buggs. Baylor is down by 21 points, and now as Markayla Johnson drives into the front court. An offensive foul is called on the Bears, and Coach Nicky is irate. The call was made right in front of her, and she let the official have it a bit. Thinking this kind of game, glad he didn't jump all over and get a technical, but that's an offensive foul on Bella Fauntleroy. It's her third foul, and already for the Bears here, she is in foul trouble once again as Texas cashes in with a Madison Booker jumper to open up their largest lead of the day at 55-32. Here is Buggs flipping it back to Van Geitenbeek. Van Geitenbeek switches direction to the right side. Baylor's going to find open down low, lets the defender fly by and lays it in. A nice pass from Van Geitenbeek to Buggs, who then found Fauntleroy cutting inside for 2.
Well, it stops that 8-0 run for Texas, just fueled by Baylor turnovers.
Here is Rory Harmon swinging it right side to Jordan Lee, getting downhill. Van Geitenbeek stays with her defensively. Lee bangs into her, puts up a floating shot in the lane that rolls off. Rebound grabbed by Deliana Little Page Buggs. Buggs with 11 boards on the game right now. Van Geitenbeek angles to the middle of the floor, harassed by Carlton, who was called for the foul. And after she bodied Van Geitenbeek all over the floor, tried to sell an offensive foul by leaning backwards. That's the third on Carlton, the second on the Longhorn. So Carlton becomes the first Longhorn with 3 fouls, and she'll take a seat. Thea Sidbury returns.
Also checking back in is Kyla Oldacre.
Oldacre back in. She has 2 fouls. She will give Brea Cunningham a breather. Inbound comes to Markayla Johnson. Markayla to the free throw line, stripped to the basketball, loses it, and it's stolen by Booker. Too many turnovers today for the Bears. That is now 19, leading to 21 points. They're going to try to add more, and they do. Jordan Lee cashes in a 3 from the right wing. They have now outscored Baylor off of turnovers 24-2. Making up a huge part of their 24-point lead, and now Markayla Johnson open on the right wing was called for a travel after taking the feed from Jenna Van Geitenbeek, and that brings us to our third quarter media timeout. A rough start for the Bears here in this third quarter. Texas has outscored them 13-7, and the Bears have turned it over 5 times in the last 3.5 minutes. The 2025-26 women's basketball season is presented by Central National Bank, proudly serving Central Texans in Waco, Temple, and Austin. Bank different. Bank Central. Central National Bank. Texas 58, Baylor 34 is the score on the Baylor Sports Media Network. Lori, I did not see. How did I miss? I did not see Talia either.
Finances.
Everyone else, I guess I was looking at the replay too much, I guess. I don't know how I missed that, but I did not see it.
Well, when she was on the... Did they walk her off, or did she...
They must have. I didn't see it happen.
I didn't see it.
You open yourself up to fraud. If it seems too good to be true, it almost always is.
But then it's kind of hard from up here. You don't see them.
Texas since 2007. Magnolia Realty is a full-service brokerage and a trusted neighbor, bridging expert industry knowledge.
Turnovers.
Magnolia Realty understands the dynamics of making the real estate journey your own.
And that was a terrible foul call, by the way.
Horrible. Agents here in Waco and across the state.
It's like Bella was standing there and somebody bounced into her, knocked her backward.
To learn more, visit MagnoliaRealty.com. Here's to home.
You're listening to Baylor Women's Basketball on the bonus
We're back here at Dickies Arena, where it's all Texas with 15 minutes remaining in this game. They lead the Bears 58-34 with 4:59 to play in the third quarter. There's 2 things we're looking at right now in this game. There's what's right in front of us. It's Baylor trying to find a way to climb their way back in and see if they can make this interesting, down 58-34. There's also Talia Scott, who late in the first half appeared to injure her ankle and was helped off the floor. We didn't have a good look at that from where we were, but as we see some footage of it, when she was actually called for that foul, banging in between players, she twisted. It looks like she came down awkwardly on her ankle, and so she remains in the locker room. So not only is Baylor playing the nation's number 2 team, and not only struggling, with who they had on the floor beforehand, now they're without their leading scorer.
Yeah, so I just saw the video as well, or not the video, but just the still shot. Yeah. And that, you roll your ankle, and boy, howdy, that hurts. So we'll keep an eye on that and find out what we can. But we're way away from anybody who can let us know, so
yeah.
Hopefully we'll keep an eye on that, and hopefully that Talia is going to be okay.
Well, Talia Scott, she dealt with a wrist injury last year, was limited to 3 games at Auburn for Johnny Harris, now her assistant coach here at Baylor, and obviously she's been such a key piece for the Bears this year. You hope for her she's all right. You hope for the team that she is all right. I'm not an injury expert. Speculating is not a good idea anyway.
Right.
My guess, Lori, is I would just say I would be surprised if we see her the rest of this game based on the fact that she's remained in the locker room and seeing that still photo. So if she comes out, again, nice surprise, but maybe you just want to make sure right now that she's ready for what's ahead if that's an option. Eugene Dunn in for the Bears along with Kyla Abraham off the bench. 4:53 to play as Texas has the ball out of the timeout. They have Sidbury, Booker, Oldacre, along with Lee and Harmon. Shot clock at 12 as Lee takes a handoff, drives to the free throw line, misses a pull-up jumper from there. Offensive rebound by Madison. Booker retreats to the wing, gives it to Harmon. Extra pass into the corner. Lee unloads a three and knocks it down. And it's a 27-point game. Texas all over the Bears, 61-34. Nearly a turnover in the backcourt as Baylor manages to save it. Bella Fauntleroy comes and gets the pass and gives it to Dariana Littlepage Buggs. Now to Van Geitenbeek. She'll unload a three, leaves it short. Rebound batted around. Dunn comes away with it, puts it on the floor in a crowd, leans in, has her shot blocked, but draws the foul. That will send two to the line. Kyla Oldacre hit with the foul. It's her third and the team's third.
That was important for Dean to control that basket and to go back up with it because that gets her to the free throw line and she's a good free throw shooter. Hasn't gotten there a lot, but when she has, she's made them.
Team goes to the line. 5 first half points. Too strong on the first. She's got one more coming.
I apologize.
Well, you know. We're way up here. I'll say you couldn't help that. So we'll see if she can knock down the second. And she does.
That's more like the team from the free throw line.
One of two, and it's a 61-35 ball game. Here's a feed ahead to Lee. Lee around the screen to the top of the arc. Under 4 minutes to play in the third quarter. Pass right side. It's Madison Booker with a crossover dribble. Middle of the floor. Gets downhill. Pulls up for a mid-range jumper and knocks it down. Boy, that's a tough play to defend. Ting was right there with her as the Longhorns pressure in the backcourt again. Baylor breaks it ahead in the front court. Across midcourt is Shanna Van Geitenbeek. Finds a cutting Buggs. Has her shot blocked by Oldacre, but Oldacre just picked up her fourth foul. So we may not see her for a while. That is 4 on Oldacre and the fourth on the Longhorns.
You know, Buggs scored her 6 points were among Baylor's first 11 points. She just has not been able to get into the offensive flow of the game since then. I'm glad again for Baylor to be able to find Buggs and get her attacking the rim.
Buggs already double-digit rebounds. She has 11, but 6 points. She's been better at the free throw line as of late, but misses the first here. Buggs was just 8 of her first 17, but is now 10 of her last 13 at the free throw line. She's been working with Tez Dumars, the assistant coach on this, and boy, misses the second as well. However, Abraham with a good offensive rebound, skying in a crowd to corral it. Kicks it out to Van Geitenbeek. Van Geitenbeek loses it, but Abraham chases it down, circles near midcourt, and gives it off to Bella. Single digits on the shot clock. Bella steps into a three. It's too strong. Long rebound into the hands of Harmon. She's off and running. Sends it across to Lee. Fakes a shot. Drives to the baseline. Eugene Dunn staying with her defensively and pushes her back outside. Here is Rory Harmon. Harmon angles to the right elbow, now beyond the arc, 10 seconds to shoot, kick out. Sidbury's open for three, but she left it short. It's out of bounds to the Bears.
Possession, Baylor.
63-35, Texas with the lead, Baylor with the basketball. Here's Dariana Littlepage Buggs racing into the front court, spinning inside 2 defenders, but she can't finish at the rim. Baylor's missed some layups today, which has been frustrating because shots have been so good. Shots have been tough to come by against this Texas defense, and then they've missed some that have been right there at the rim. Texas with a 28-point lead. Give it to Maddie Booker. Booker puts it on the floor, hooks it down low to Cunningham, fumbles it, gets it back. Little turnaround jumper, good, and a foul.
Baylor did such a good job when the ball got into Cunningham digging at that basketball, and somehow she's just able to pull it back in and just get an easy shot and an and one opportunity.
Buggs' foul was her second, the team's second. Texas is on an 18-3 run. Baylor, meanwhile, has gone nearly 3.5 minutes without a field goal. Free throw up, it is too strong. Rebound batted around. Bugs in a crowd, gobbles it up. Gives it off to Jenna Van Geitenbeek. Van Geitenbeek to the middle of the floor, gets downhill, open lane to the basket, and she finishes.
Nice play to be able to find space and be able to get past Harmon and just finish at the rim. I mean, Baylor has missed some easy shots at the rim. That time, Jana was not about to miss.
Here's a feed down low to Booker. Short jumper, last minute dump off to Cunningham, and she is fouled. Little touch pass from Booker when it looked like she was about to shoot the ball. Instead, just tapped it to Cunningham, and a foul is called on Bella Fauntleroy, and that's her fourth. Her fourth, team's third, and it sends Brea Cunningham to the line where she's hitting 55% on the year. Well, Baylor without Talia Scott. As the first free throw falls off her, one more coming, and we'll have to play some significant minutes, it would appear, without Bella Fauntleroy. Right now, though, she's going to stay in the game. Second free throw is good. I beg your pardon. Markayla Johnson was hidden from the view here, but she's going to check in.
You need to preserve some Bella time in the fourth.
Texas by a game-high 29 points as they pressure in the backcourt. Van Geitenbeek into the front court for the Bears. They're going to set up a half-court offense. Lob into the post. It is Bugs tapping it off down low to Abraham. Nice feed there, and Abraham finishes from the right block. Abraham's first scoring. She has 2 boards and now 2 points, and it's a 66-39 game.
And that's Bugs' fourth assist, and that was all really nicely done for Baylor, and they just battled inside.
Booker has her shot blocked by Abraham in the post, kicks it out to Lee. 8 seconds to shoot for the Longhorns. Here's Sidbury driving inside, lobbing out to Harmon. 3 seconds to shoot. She gets inside and misses the layup attempt. Got her own rebound though, and is going to drive back outside. We're down to a minute 10 to play in the third quarter. All Texas in this one. Harmon with a flip to Booker, angling to the left side of the floor, feeds it to Harmon on the baseline, and she cashes in on a pretty jumper from 15 feet away. Harmon hasn't scored a lot this game, but she hasn't needed to. She's got 7 points, 7 assists, and 4 rebounds. The Texas lead is back to 29 as Van Geitenbeek gives it to Abraham. Abraham on a handoff to Ting. Now to Markayla Johnson. 10 to shoot. Markayla loses the ball. Boy, she's kept losing the ball off of her foot driving inside, and she does so there.
Well, I think Texas can do a good job of speeding you up defensively, and when you haven't played that kind of pressure, sometimes it's easy to let the ball slip away from you.
About 10 seconds between the clocks here. Texas has it with 31 seconds to play in the third quarter. They find Booker down low for another easy 2. Booker is the game's leading scorer with 20 points on 10 of 15 shooting. And the Texas lead is now 31 at 70-39. Just ugly to look up there and see that score. As Van Geitenbeek has it middle of the floor. If you just joined us, Texas has put together a couple of big runs, and Baylor lost Talia Scott to an injury late in the first half. We're down to 5 seconds to play in the third quarter. There's a kick out in the corner from Van Geitenbeek to Dunn, who leaves the 3 short, and that's the way the third quarter ends. Texas outscores Baylor 25-12 in the third quarter to open up a 31-point lead. Hey, Bears fans, this basketball season, make Pepsi your go-to game day drink because it's the only drink for basketball watching. Pepsi, that's what I like. Proud partner of Baylor Athletics. To the fourth quarter we go. Texas leads the Bears 70-39 on the Baylor Sports Media Network. You know, Larry, I'm really bothered that I didn't see the Talia Scott.
I did not see it.
What, were we blocked? I'm just confused if they got her off the floor quickly or how did we, I don't know.
Well, did she go another way? Did they take her off?
I wonder if they did.
Today we have 2 very special guests on our program.
Because when she went through, went in between those 2 players and got bodied up.
This is we first of lemon and 636.
Why don't you must be a little more important to Scott than the other?
is it? So we can just that
It works for me.
Starry Lemon Lime Soda. Starry hits different.
You're listening to Baylor Women's Basketball on the Baylor Sports Media Network.
Back here in Fort Worth, where it is all Longhorns at the moment. They lead the Bears 70-39 as we head to the fourth quarter. It's just been a tough stretch here for the Bears after they scored 9 of the game's first 13 points. Baylor scored 9 of the game's first 13 points to open up a 9-4 lead. Texas put together a 23-2 run, and right at times when it would seem like the Bears were climbing back in, Texas would put a little run together and then found themselves without Talia Scott for the last few minutes of the first half. And she had to exit the ball game there. 70-39 to score. Lori, right now you're just trying to take something I think positive into the game here to head into this next week and hope that Talia Scott is all right.
We certainly hope so. I mean, this is it is what it is right now, and so this is all about Baylor fighting for the next 10 minutes and just trying to see what they can do against Texas. I mean, the Longhorns have just put it to Baylor.
We'll take a look at a few numbers here for the Bears. Right now, obviously not much going Baylor's way statistically. Again, 2 of the key stats in this one. Baylor has been outscored 29-2 off of turnovers. That's what Texas does. They are about really at their season average. They outscore opponents by 30 points per game they score about 30 points per game off of turnovers. They've dominated Baylor in the paint and in fast break points, 22-2. 3 in double figures for the Longhorns. Maddie Booker has 20, 15 for Jordan Lee, including 4 3-pointers. Blair Cunningham has 11 for the Bears. No one in double figures. Talia Scott has 9, but again, she did not play after the second quarter media timeout there in the first half. Darion Littlepage Buggs, the top player for the Bears today, 6 points and 12 rebounds. 70-39 is the score as we head to the fourth quarter. Appreciate everyone watching on the Courtside Cam, brought to you by NextLink, reliable high-speed internet for your home or business. Well, Lori, as Baylor has the ball to start the fourth quarter, let's just right now, you can only do what's in front of you, and you want to see if you can start strong. Texas knocks the inbounds away. It'll stay with the Bears. Baylor will begin the fourth quarter with Van Geitenbeek, Markayla Johnson, Dunn, Abraham, and Buggs. Buggs plays it into Jana in the backcourt, and she picks up speed against Rory Harmon, an excellent defender. Slings it over to Buggs. Buggs pull up from the mid-range and is off the back rim. No. Rebound is lost out of bounds by Booker. It's going to stay with the Bears. 16 seconds into the fourth quarter. Texas has done a good job doing what they do, which is really making everything difficult. And now the inbounds pass is tipped by the taller Maddie Booker away from Dunn. She drives inside and lays it in. That makes it a 33-point ball game. Now another steal and nearly a 3-point play. Texas is going to go to the line. Sidbury drove it, just kind of dropped inside and knocked the inbounds pass away, spiked it off of Buggs, gathered it in and laid it up as she was fouled. She missed the shot, but she'll go to the line. That's going to be a foul on Dariana Littlepage Buggs. It is her third and the team's fourth. Free throws are coming for Sidbury. She's an 81% free throw shooter. Texas today is 8 of 12 from the free throw line. First free throw up and it spins off. She's got one more coming. She misses the first and hits the second. So she is 1 of 2 to make it 73-39. Texas continues to press in the backcourt. That's what they do. They press the full 40 minutes under Vic Schaefer as Jana Van Geitenbeek bounces beyond the three-point arc, kicks it out to Markayla Johnson. Johnson retreats between the circles, feeds it to Abraham, well beyond her range, outside to Van Geitenbeek. There's a lob down low to Abraham, who glasses it up and off. And a foul is called on Texas to send Abraham to the free throw line. It looks like she and, is that Carlton, I believe, kind of got to the same spot at the same time.
Jordan Lee will be the third personal foul. First team foul against the Longhorns.
That is a Longhorn foul to send Abraham to the line. That's Jordan Lee, I beg your pardon, called for her third foul. And the first on Texas in the fourth quarter. And again, Lee just didn't have time to set her feet there. And that'll send Abraham to the line. She struggles from the stripe, 35% on the season, and hits the first calmly. That makes it 73-40. This in line to be the lowest point total of the year for the Bears. As Abraham hits 2 of 2, you like seeing that. And that makes it 73-41. And also Texas right now in line to perhaps put the highest point total up of the year against the Bears. In fact, likely to do so as Lee at the free throw line dribbles, tries to get inside, spins, and then kicks it out to Carlton. Carlton slices across and kicks it out to Harmon, passes up a 3, drives inside, dishes it off to Cunningham in close, misses the shot, and Buggs collects yet another rebound. She has 13 of them today. Here's Van Geitenbeek, a minute and a half into the fourth quarter with the left-hand dribble. Gives it off. No, will hold on to the ball. Couldn't hand it off to Markayla Johnson. And now Buggs is called for an offensive foul, trying to fight through the defense of Booker. May have caught her with an elbow.
Foul against number 5 on Baylor.
Booker went leaning back there, and don't think that was in that. In fact, I'm very confident that wasn't intentional, but I do think that was the right call there. Mentioned that Texas has 73 points, and in fact, this is already the highest point total of the year against the Bears. The previous high was 63 was 72 rather. I beg your pardon, by Lindenwood in an overtime game. Maddie Booker is fouled along the baseline, and free throws will be coming. That'll be Yu-Ting Dunn hit with the foul, her first, and the first on the Bears in the fourth quarter. Beg your pardon, correct. That'll be Markayla Johnson hit with the foul. And at the line, Booker has the first roll off. Neither team has been good today at the free throw line. Texas has gotten the line a little bit more. And Shim Booker hits the second. 8:12 to play. All Texas here. They're up by 33 points. Pressure in the backcourt. Buggs having some trouble. She's got to get it in. Finds Van Geitenbeek, who races into the front court. Has her pass tipped away. It's out of bounds to Baylor. Now, Lori, a couple of things here I would say. In a game like this, trying to find any positives feels, I don't know, a little Pollyanna-ish. This has not been a good game for the Bears. They're playing without Talia Scott, who may have sustained an ankle injury in the first half. Here is Jana Van Geitenbeek with a kick out to Buggs. We'll talk about this as we go forward here. Buggs with the left-hand dribble. Slings it to Abraham. We're down to 13 seconds to shoot for the Bears. Abraham tries to hand it off to Johnson, but can't. Texas harassing out there. Abraham gets it back, gives it off to Buggs. Now outside to Markayla Johnson. She's going to have to drive into a shot, swings the elbows, and can't quite hit from the free throw line. Rebound tipped out from Abraham to Dunn. Into the corner, Buggs. Second chance point opportunity for Baylor. Well, the positive I was going to say is Baylor's been solid on the boards today against this good Texas rebounding team. Here is Abraham looking to feed it into the post, but has her pass knocked away and stole it. Here's Booker racing into the front court. She's the game's leading scorer, the reigning SEC Player of the Year. Bounces it on the baseline where Carlton misses a baseline jumper. Rebound pinballs around. And Jana Van Geitenbeek, who had a career-high 10 rebounds on Wednesday, picks up one here. In transition, she hands it off to Dunn, who floats in a pretty three from the right wing.
That was probably one of the best plays that we've seen all game long, is that Jana was just able to stop and be able just to just underhand the pass to her and screen open a sweet three from Dunn.
Here is Cunningham driving inside, missing the off-balance runner, falling away. Bugs with yet another rebound, gives it off to Van Geitenbeek, stops at the free throw line, retreats beyond the three-point arc, looking for Dunn, who's covered in the corner. Her pass is tipped, knocked away, stolen by Harmon. Harmon back 1-on-2, thought she absorbed a foul, no call, but she maintains possession and lays it in. That makes it 76-44 as they continue to press. Baylor having trouble getting it in and throws it away. Now did Texas get a hand on it? Did Texas get a hand on it? No, they did not. So that is another Baylor turnover. That is a season high 27 turnovers on the Bears. Now what's tough too is you don't have in a game like this, you don't have, as Bella Fauntleroy checks back in for the Bears along with Kira Pemberton, who's in for the first time. What's tough in a game like this is you don't have one of your outlets in Talia Scott either, who exited in the first half with an injury. Inbound comes to Booker, drives inside and lays it in. Mentioned turnovers for the Bears. Their previous season high was 22 in that overtime game against Davidson. Now another turnover. Harmon grabs the loose ball and is fouled. Now Coach Nikki with her head on her hands there in front of the Baylor bench. This has just been a very unpleasant game all the way around from a Baylor standpoint. And now with 5:59 to play, Harmon goes to the free throw line. Harmon 1 of 1 today and now 1 of 2 as she leaves it short. Texas 10 of 17 from the free throw line. 28 Baylor turnovers have led to 37 Texas points. Second free throw is good, so you think about that. Lori Baylor has 44 points total. They've scored 37 points off of Baylor turnovers. Here is Van Geitenbeek. Middle of the floor, lobbing it down low to Nelms, who got loose and laid it in. Good find there as Nelms hits her first bucket. Nelms is becoming a more reliable piece off the bench, bit by bit. And you hope that that continues. 76-49. Texas with the ball and the lead. 5.5 to play. Here is Booker high on the left side. Oldacre out to set a screen. Lob down low, pick and roll. Oldacre misses the layup and the rebound knocked out of bounds. It'll stay with the Longhorns.
Well, Baylor had a couple of players there to pull down that rebound, and I think everyone's just trying to grab the ball and hang on to it. You know, you want to talk about 28 turnovers, and I winced just a moment ago, but the last time Baylor had 25 or more turnovers in a game, they had 26 at Houston on February 4th, 2024.
Now an inbound and a foul called against the Bears. Markayla Johnson hit with the foul.
15 foul against the Bears.
Markayla hit with her second. And that's now 5 on Baylor here. So we're down to 5:21 to play in this one. All Texas is Booker at the free throw line where she is 1 of 2 today. It's the first. One more is coming. Wow, a 4 overtime game the last time Baylor had this many turnovers. That game was here in the DFW area.
It was. American Airlines Center.
Yeah.
A doubleheader with Kentucky, and you were there for that one.
You remember what happened the next day?
Yes, I do. It was. I was just glad we were able to get home. It took a long time to get home because of the frozen roads in the DFW area.
Here's Pemberton taking the feed from Van Geitenbeek, spinning inside, and she earns a trip to the free throw line, attacks the bucket there on the baseline. It was.
You know, that's what Kira Pemberton is known for, is putting the ball on the floor and dribble driving. She had to do that one. It's not in the middle of the paint, but from the side. And that was a nice attacking move from Kira.
Baylor trails 81-46. Just an ugly afternoon here in Fort Worth as Pemberton at the free throw line. She is 5 of 6 on the year and now 6 of 7. By the way, what Laura and I were referring to earlier is after Baylor had the men and women doubleheader at AT&T Stadium in Arlington. Yes, we drove back down to Waco, and the next day was the final game at Floyd Casey, where the Bears beat Texas to claim the Big 12 title and send Floyd Casey out in style. Pemberton hits them both to make it 81-48.
Yeah, we had a car full of student workers, and it took us a long time to be able to get home. I think the sun was coming up when we finally made it back.
Here is Madison Booker sending it out to Harmon. Harmon dribbles into a mid-range jumper at the free throw line, missed it, got her own rebound, then missed the subsequent shot. Rebound out of bounds to UT with 4:45 to play here in Fort Worth. All Texas, they lead the Bears 81-48. Hey, Bears fans, this basketball season, make Pepsi your go-to game day drink because it's the only drink for basketball watching at Pepsi. That's what I like. Proud partner of Baylor Athletics. All Texas here, final 4:45 straight ahead in Fort Worth on the Baylor Sports Media Network.
See for yourself why Green Eye Associates is voted best in Waco year after year. Enjoy exceptional service and care from Dr. Leanne Green, along with her dedicated optometrists and staff.
You know, this kind of reminds me of when we, 2004,
variety of contacts
we played at Manhattan, Kansas.
Optical team in
I think it was 2004.
State-of-the-art dry eye therapies that rejuvenate the eyes, face, and neck areas with safe, non-invasive treatment.
Oh yeah.
Comfort.
And by the way, I couldn't go all the way back.
Green Eye Associates, official optometrist of Baylor Athletics.
Are you tired of slow internet? Are data caps and throttling making it impossible to stream your favorite shows and movies?
Sorry, I did a chicken
So, it
thing.
sounds like it's time to switch to NextLink Internet. With NextLink, there are no data caps and no throttling, just super fast internet speeds, up to 1 gig over wireless.
So
with some
still
Plus,
go
Link
get
is a
somebody?
official partner of
Get Nikki,
Baylor
just
Athletics.
Nikki.
So don't worry
Let's
about
tell
the
Colin, you'll ask if she can give us an update even though we know there's no update. Ask for an update. Just say, you know, I would probably just say, Coach Nikki, really a tough one. What do you take away? Make it quick.
Basketball on the Baylor Sports Media Network.
Back here in Fort Worth, where the Bears trail Texas 81-48, and really hard to find a whole lot of positives in this one. It's been all Texas. Talia Scott has not played since late first half after she was helped off the floor with an injury, and she still has not returned to the bench, which is not an ideal sign, certainly, although we have to wait and see what the official update is. But I'll say this, Lloyd, great Baylor crowd here in Fort Worth. Really appreciate the fans who came out here and certainly made some noise. We're very grateful for them being here. I think they outnumbered Texas fans. You know, that's one positive in this game. Another one is that I would say that the rebounding margin, Baylor has really battled on the glass. Texas is a good rebounding team, a top 20 rebounding team in the nation. Baylor has struggled there at times this year, but today rebounding pretty close. Texas 32, Baylor 28, and they're a little better than the Bears, but I think Baylor has really closed the gap into that one and fought hard today in that area. You've got Darion Little-Page Bugs with 14 rebounds, but you know, that's about where it ends, and I know that talking about that in a game like this one, it falls a little flat. It falls a little flat trying to find positives, but we'll find a couple of them there and recognize that otherwise it's an 81-48 basketball game.
Yeah, the rebounding part, yes, it's even, but where Baylor has just where it's been the most painful is the 14 offensive rebounds they have given up against Texas. So Texas has 17 points off of those 14 offensive boards, and then the points off turnovers. You could just really put it right there at that. Points off turnovers have just Texas has just feasted on Baylor turnovers today.
Out of the timeout, and inbound on the baseline to Oldacre, who muscles her way inside for the layup.
Just cleared out Nelms with her forearm.
Yeah, you know, if it's not called, it's not called. Texas by an 83-48 score here with 4:25 to play. Jana Van Geitenbeek directs traffic. Bounces it to the middle of the floor, slings it left wing to Fauntleroy. Fauntleroy backs inside on Carlton, now outside to Pemberton. Drives inside, double team, stripped of the basketball, got it back, shot clock at 2, has it blocked, and a jump ball is called. Boy, a lot of contact.
Goodness.
But no whistle.
Knocked out of bounds. Possession, Texas.
So the shot clock is going to give the ball back to the Longhorns with 4:08 to play. Rory Harmon, the all-time assist leader in Texas history, is on her way to a double-double if she picks up one more. Oldacre has it high on the left wing. Harmon has 10 points and 9 assists. Harmon slings it over to Carlton. Now back out to Harmon. Harmon dribbles to the free throw line. Tough turnaround jumper just inside the paint is good. Rory Harmon now with 12 points. 4 Longhorns in double figure, led by Madison Booker with 27. Markayla Johnson in a crowd misses a turnaround jumper, got her own rebound, pulls up for another mid-range and buries it. Markayla Johnson has had a tough game. She's turned the ball over 6 times, but she does have 6 points, 2 rebounds, and an assist.
And she went after her own missed shot and scored on an offensive rebound. I'll give her credit for that.
Yeah, you got to continue to hustle in these games, even when you're down like this, and Markayla did there. Here is Harmon to the baseline. Pull-up jumper, no. Rebound grabbed by Bella Fauntleroy in a crowd. Slings it ahead to Jana Van Geitenbeek. Jana into the front court. Picked up by Oldacre, slings inside, loses the basketball. She's stripped by Harmon, bodies hit the floor. Harmon bounces it ahead to Jordan Lee ahead of the crowd for the layup. Jordan Lee got loose as the loose ball really drew in players from both teams, and she just leaked to the basket, and Harmon saw her after she picked it up for the layup. That makes it 87-50. Boy, Baylor, the number 13 team in the nation. Well, this will improve Texas RPI. They've got a big margin here in a game against the nation's number 13 team, and it's been a mismatch today as a foul is called on Texas.
Yeah, Oldacre will foul out, but Cunningham comes right in her place.
Oldacre with her 5th foul. She, as Lori said, she finishes with 7 points and 4 rebounds. It's a 3rd foul on Texas as Baylor plays it in from the wing. Now Van Geitenbeek has it right corner. Puts it on the floor, drives baseline, pushes it outside to Markayla. Extra pass to Fauntleroy, and Fauntleroy is fouled. That's the 4th on Texas. That's Madison Booker's 3rd. And so now both teams will be shooting the penalty for the final 2:21. But Madison Booker's day is done, and she gets a deserved hand from the Texas crowd. She's going to finish today with 27 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists. Off the inbounds, Markayla Johnson misses a pull-up jumper. Lee with the rebound. We're down to 2:14 to play in this one. Texas with the ball on a 37-point lead. Here's Harmon flipping it outside to Lee. Lee to the baseline, finds a cutting Harmon who leaves the jumper short. Rebound spiked out of bounds to Baylor with 1:58 to go. Well, coming up on our first Central Credit Union post-game show, we will get an update from Bears head coach Nikki Collin. We'll see if we can get an update. I don't know if there'll really be one to give on Talia Scott, but we'll ask. We'll see if we can find that out, and we'll give you stats, scores, and more here from Fort Worth. They're not especially pretty, as you can guess here. Here's Van Geitenbeek driving inside to the bucket, has her shot blocked, out of bounds. It's going to stay with the Bears with 10 seconds to shoot and 1:39 to play. It'll be Van Geitenbeek to play it in. From the baseline. Grace Printer, a native of Ireland, a true freshman, is checking in for the first time. She sees limited playing time, but she gets a hand from the crowd as she checks in. Van Geitenbeek having some trouble getting it in, finds Nelms on the left wing, gives it back to Jana. Jana retreats beyond the arc. We're down to 5 seconds to shoot, gets inside, a whistle and a foul on Texas. 93 seconds to play in this one. All cosmetic now. Baylor has given up its highest point total of the year to Texas at 87 points, and it's been the lowest point total for the Bears so far at 50, although Jana can match their outing against Iowa from the free throw line as the first shot is up and off. She's got one more coming. Van Geitenbeek, a good free throw shooter, but she misses the first. She's now 8 of 11 on the year, hits the second. So she is at 75%. Lori's got to make her way down there to Find Coach Nikki after the game. We're in a different kind of spot than we normally are here at this Dickies Arena, an NBA-type arena in Fort Worth. Minute 22 to play here. It is Lee dribbling to the right wing and burying a jumper, right elbow, I beg your pardon. Jordan Lee has been a big pickup for them over the last 2 years. She's got 19 points, the sophomore, an excellent shooter, and Baylor has seen that today. We're down to a minute 5 to go. Here is Van Geitenbeek slinging it to Markayla Johnson. Under a minute to go now as Johnson retreats beyond the three-point arc. Gets downhill once again, fakes a pass, drives inside, leaves the runners short. 49 seconds to play in this one, 25 seconds to shoot for Texas. This may well be their last look at the basket offensively. It is Lee giving it to Carlton. Lobs it down low. Here's a kick out. Printer for three. Misses. Rebound tipped around. It is grabbed by Pemberton, and now the shot clock is off. 89-51 is the score. Baylor with the basketball. We'll see if they drain clock or if they want to run a play earlier here. Jana Van Geitenbeek with a kick out to Markayla Johnson. Fakes a pass, lets the shot fly, and hits the three to make it 89-54. Shot clock is off. Texas plays it in with 13 seconds left, and it would appear that they will dribble the clock away. Well, Texas will improve to 5-0 this year against top 25 teams and remain undefeated with a dominant 89-54 win over the Bears. Tough one today as Baylor falls, their biggest margin of defeat this season, just their second, obviously the biggest margin of defeat this season, and just Baylor's second loss of the year. Well, now obviously our attention turns as you sort of lick your wounds from this one to see if we can get an update on Talia Scott. 89-54 the final. The first Central Credit Union postgame show is next from Fort Worth on the Baylor Sports Media Network.
Hi, Jan from Toyota here to let you know that Toyota-thon is on. And
we seem to be one break behind. Is that correct?
You can let that one skip. You can let's.
What I'll do is I'll just combine it.
So without
okay,
further
that
ado,
works.
Drive.
The game's over, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we never got that called timeout.
That's okay. I didn't. I've been halfway listening to the stream, and I didn't think I missed anything, but I thought I better just would ask.
No, you're correct. You're correct.
Toyota-thon, Toyota-thon, Toyota-thon is on. Oh, what fun it is to drive a new Toyota today. Hey!
Dealer inventory may vary. Current offers on these vehicles end December 1st. Offers are subject to change throughout Toyota-thon, which ends on January 5th. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Toyota, let's go places. During Toyota-thon, qualified buyers can get 2.99% APR financing for 72 months on a rugged new 2026 Tundra. Offer available in select states only.
Do you want to earn points while cheering on your favorite Baylor teams? Join Baylor Bold Rewards. Track your attendance on the Baylor Sports app across athletic events and earn points towards prizes and experiences. Download the Baylor Sports app or register online today at BaylorBoldRewards.com and start earning your points today. Two very special guests on our program. Introducing Lem and Lime.
Hello.
For Starry Lemon Lime Soda.
Thanks for having us.
What is Starry Lemon Lime Soda?
It's a quick burst of
the post-game interview is a quick one. It's recorded. I'm going to send it to you here shortly, and we'll have to call you through to play it from there.
Okay.
It just as easily be Starry Lime Lemon Soda.
No, that doesn't sound right. Oh, I like it. So you saying hip-hop could be hop hip. Works for me.
Starry Lemon Lime Soda. Starry hits different.
Bluebonnet Health Services has been caring for Central Texans since 2004. Bluebonnet is locally owned and operated, which allows them the most interaction with patients each and every day, promoting compassionate care and integrity. They provide hands-on attention to their patients through a staff with years of experience. Bluebonnet Health Services provides home health care, supportive care, and hospice. Remember, it's your health, your choice. Ask your doctor for Bluebonnet Health Services.
When you strive for greatness, you have a target on your back. And when it comes to finances, we're all targets for scammers. With the right game plan, you can protect yourself. Don't get faked by fraud. Here's a tip. Never deposit someone else's money into your bank account. Scammers will send you money or overpay you and then ask you to refund a portion of the money back to them. This is a scam.
This message is brought to you by Central National Bank.
Fox Sports Radio.
What'd she say?
K230CK and KRMX HD3 Waco.
What's that?
She's very,
You're good. Sorry.
very calm.
Okay. What'd you give an update on?
That was Reg.
Baylor women's basketball.
And I asked.
Now, it's time for the First Central Credit Union post-game show. Brought to you by Texas Farm Bureau Insurance, championship partner of Baylor Athletics. Visit Texas Farm Bureau Insurance online to find a local agent today. Central National
Dan,
Bank.
just tell me down the line when you have that. It'll be there on its way in just a minute here.
Women's basketball.
Okay, I'm watching for it.
Innovation that excites. Lignan, America's trusted brand name in cleaning. Premier ER and Urgent Care. Feel better now. Stay tuned as we break down the game. Listen to highlights, talk with Coach Colin, players, and more. All coming up on the Baylor Sports Media Network.
Well, a rough afternoon for the Bears. Insult injury, if you will, all the way around as the 13th ranked Bears fall 89-54 to the second ranked Texas Longhorns. You know, we knew coming in, Lori Fogelman, we knew coming in that Texas was every bit as good as advertised and that they were going to do some things that were going to give the Bears trouble. And that was the case today. Obviously, a 35-point win, very dominant by Texas. It didn't help. The Baylor lost to Leah Scott to a second quarter injury. This game was, obviously trending towards being a loss there, even when the Bears lost to Leah. But I think you have her. You've got a chance to climb back in it. And, maybe you don't care if the final margin is any better, although you hate to lose by a score of this magnitude. But right now that this game is over, there's really two things. Is one, finding out how Talia's doing and hoping, say a prayer for her that she's all right. And then two is getting better from this. Baylor, this is an embarrassing loss today, no question. But the Bears can learn from it, and this is a young Baylor team, as we said before the game. You've really only got about two players coming back in the same spots they were last year. That's Darian Little-Page Buggs and Bella Fauntleroy. I think Baylor looked like that today, unfortunately. But you can learn from it. You can draw from it.
You can, because I'll tell you this, you don't know what you don't know. And now you see the level that Texas plays at. You see where a number 2 team in the nation plays. And you did some good things. You competed somewhat well on the boards today where Texas really excels, but you just can't turn the basketball over, and you can't lose 20 points a game without Talia Scott in there as well. That was tough for Baylor to be able to lose her production and her ability to be able to slash, get to the free throw line, be able to draw attention and get the basketball to her teammates. So that was just tough. It was just all the way you can say this one. You're just going to have to put your hands up and say, we'll learn from this one and go forward.
Well, Talia Scott actually finishes tied as the Bears' leading scorer on the game with Yu-Ting Dunn with 9 apiece. Well, Laura, you just visited with Coach Nikki after the game. Let's hear her post-game comments right now, brought to you by Alliance Bank. Alliance Bank, it's your bank.
It was a tough one today.
They were just better than us today. Then you lose 20 points a game to an ankle injury early. I think we had enough offense. Bella in foul trouble. We didn't make shots. We were sped up. Their press obviously bothered us. I thought we competed most of the game on the boards. But the turnovers, points off turnovers was where the game was winning.
10 seconds.
We're going to grow from that, though.
Is there any update on
no, I don't know.
That is Coach Nikki Koff. And that's Coach Nikki, Lori. And we did an interview different here at Dickey's Arena because you and I are up very high, kind of up in the stands, and didn't want to bring her up here after that, understandably. But I'm not surprised we didn't get an update on Talia Scott. We wanted to ask, and obviously that's kind of all eyes. That's where all eyes are going to be these next few days.
Yeah, and I appreciate Coach Nikki just she was on her way back to the locker room, and I just stepped in front of her and asked her a question real quickly. So she very graciously took a moment just to give us her quick thoughts. But I know that was a tough one. But again, this is one where you go, okay, it's December. You learn a lot from this particular game, and it's not fun. You don't like it. You're going to go back to Waco and regroup. It's a tough time as well. You think about the team finished some finals yesterday and just hopped on the bus and came here. So, a lot of things going on in their mind. Not saying that that's an excuse or anything like that, but this was a tough one.
This was
that's all you can say.
Coach Nicky said, and I think they were the better team today. And obviously, a decent amount. Maybe if Talia Scott is healthy, it's not quite this margin, but ultimately it's a loss, whatever that final margin is. And Roy, here's really the big thing as we look ahead towards Talia Scott hopefully being healthy, and if she misses any time, which we don't know. But I'll say she didn't come back out on the bench that I saw. That's not that's never good when you don't see a player come back out to the bench. So who knows what that means? And they also they're just being cautious. This player's dealt with injury before, but the Big 12 season opens a week from today. You think about it. Baylor plays Texas Tech 1 week from today in the Big 12 opener. Southern midweek this week at Foster Pavilion. You want to be clicking on all cylinders for that Texas Tech game next Sunday. And the Bears will learn from this, and hopefully for the team, a lot of younger players, new players. You don't let one loss become two, right? And I don't think Baylor will do that against Southern, but I think you also make sure that you don't have a hangover effect from this, right? That you find a way to recognize this game for what it was. Texas, number 2 team in the nation. They were quite a bit better than you today, but learn from it. Learn from it, apply it. I don't think we've seen this team ceiling anywhere close to it, and if you learn from it, if you think about poise, Baylor didn't show enough poise holding the basketball. You think about shot selection at times. You think about finishing. These are all things that are not going to look pretty on film in this game, but you can improve in those areas and be that much better off down the line.
You certainly can. This is a Texas team that's relentless on the board. They're relentless on defensive pressure, and that's not a surprise to anybody. Again, they talked about how they wear you down physically, and they'll bump you and they'll bang you, and if there is no foul call at all, they're just going to keep on doing it, and you got to work through those bumps, and you got to work through the mental part of the game too, because they just wear you down, and they just feasted on Baylor when they were after a made basket, just turning the basketball over real quickly. It's almost just recognizing the situation, and after it happened a few times, you were like, you know what, we got to do something different on that. But again, I'm going to use your words. You live and learn from this one. This is not the end of it. Not be all end all. That's for sure.
Well, Baylor outscored off of turnovers 42-2 in a game they lost by 30 points. So you can do the math. 40-point spread there, 35-point loss. That was the game there today. We are brought to you by Rudy's, proud sponsor of Baylor Athletics. Be sure to stop by your local Rudy's or Rudy's.com for some real Texas barbecue. Enjoy 100% oak smoked meats, delicious sides, and Rudy's signature sauce. Don't forget, Rudy's serves breakfast tacos every day until 10 a.m. This is the First Central Credit Union postgame show. Baylor falls to Texas today, 89-54, and we'll be back with more stats after this on the Baylor Sports Media Network.
It's the wrap-up the year's.
And we have 2 breaks after this.
Dodge Chrysler. Hang on, I think so. Yes, sir, you're correct.
Thank you.
With 0% financing for 60 months, or take $4,500 in combined bonus cash, plus $1,000 in select inventory cash. And right now,
when is your team play?
3 o'clock.
Okay.
Into the new year. These deals. So hurry into Alan Samuels.
And Roy, I'll make this kind of. We can do the rest of this quick here.
Come see why Green Eye Associates is voted
perfectly
best
fine with
Waco
that.
year after year. Enjoy exceptional service and care from Dr. Leanne Green alongside her dedicated optometrist and staff. Receive trustworthy insights on your eye health. Enjoy the impressive variety of contacts and eyewear, and work with the most experienced optical team in Waco. Don't miss the new state-of-the-art dry eye therapies that rejuvenate the eyes and face with safe, non-invasive treatments to restore comfort and quality of life. Green Eye Associates, official optometrist of Baylor Athletics.
When you strive for greatness, you have a target on your back. And when it comes to finances, we're all targets for scammers. With the right game plan, you can protect yourself. Don't get faked by fraud. Here's a tip. Don't click on links in emails and text messages. Scammers send emails and texts that look real, saying there's a problem with your account or your order. Don't click. Don't do it. Ever. Instead, go directly to the company's website and log in there.
This message is brought to you by Central National Bank.
Proudly serving Texas since 2007, Magnolia Realty is a full-service brokerage and a trusted neighbor, bridging expert industry knowledge with integrity and kindness. Known for their award-winning agents, Magnolia Realty understands the dynamics of making the real estate journey your own and the importance of trust from contract to close. You can find their local agents here in Waco and across the state, including in Dallas, Fort Worth, Austin, San Antonio, and Temple. To get connected and learn more, visit magnoliarealty.com. Here's to home.
You're listening to Baylor Women's Basketball on the Baylor Sports Media Network.
Welcome back into the First Central Credit Union post-game show. First Central Credit Union, everything we do for you. We'll take it's been a tough one for the Bears today as they fall to Texas by a score of 89-54, a game in which Talia Scott suffered an apparent ankle injury. She landed on Jordan Lee's foot in the second quarter and came down awkwardly. You hope that it's not something serious, but we don't know. We'll find out, I would imagine, at some point this week. Final stats in this one. Texas. Here's really the only stat you need from this game. This one stat doesn't always tell the story, but in this case, it does. Texas forced 30 Baylor turnovers and scored 42 points off of those turnovers. The Bears forced 7 turnovers and scored 2 points off of them. That's the game. That's rough. A 40-point swing in a 35-point game. You know, if Baylor's able to cut down on the turnovers, maybe Texas still wins, or maybe it's a different game entirely. But unfortunately, that's what Texas does. Baylor, just by not being able to protect the basketball against that Texas press, really kind of was the wind in Texas's offensive sails en route to Texas shooting 49%, Baylor at 39%. Quite a differential in the amount of shots took. Baylor took 46, Texas took 73. 4 in double figures for the Longhorns, led by Madison Booker, the SEC Player of the Year. Had a great game, 27 points, 8 rebounds, and 5 assists. Rory Harmon, a double-double, 12 points and 10 assists. Jordan Lee had 19 points for the Longhorns. Leading scorer for the Bears was Talia Scott and Markayla Johnson and Yu-Ting Dunn, as each combined for each had 3 points. Markayla had 9 on 3 of 10 shooting. Yu-Ting Dunn had 9 points on 3 of 6 shooting. Talia Scott was 2 of 8. Scott 4 of 4 from the line, 2 of 8 from the floor before exiting with an injury. Yu-Ting Dunn, a nice game off the bench, 9 points on 3 of 6 shooting. 6 points apiece for Jenna Van Geitenbeek and Dariana Littlepage Buggs. Buggs finished with a game-high 14 rebounds. 3 points a block shot for Kirsten Johnson. 4 points for Bella Fauntleroy and Kyla Abraham. It all adds up to an 89-54 victory for the Longhorns today. We'll take a timeout and come back to wrap things up and get you ready for the week ahead here. Baylor falls today in Fort Worth. Tough one to the Longhorns on the Baylor Sports Media Network.
Bluebonnet Health Services has been caring for Central Texans since 2004. Bluebonnet is locally owned and operated, which allows them the most interaction with patients each and every day, promoting compassionate care and integrity. They provide hands-on attention to their patients through a staff with years of experience. Bluebonnet Health Services provides home health care, supportive care, and hospice. Remember, it's your health, your choice. Ask your doctor for Bluebonnet Health Services.
Everything we do for you.
Slam dunk benefits at First Central Credit Union. Tip off with free checking that pays cash, less fees, great rates, quick local loans, easy online applications, a free mobile app, secure remote control cards, 24/7 deposits, and more services at our ATMs, and a free new member t-shirt. Join today at firstcentralcu.com. We're your team. Everything we do for you.
Eligibility and application requirements apply. Member NCUA.
And Van, we'll just go in.
Want to be the energy our Bears need?
Okay.
With Baylor Athletics this season and be the gold factor across each of our sports. Wear exclusive Gold apparel from the Baylor Bookstore and the Spirit Shop at upcoming Go Gold dates. Stay up to date on all your golden opportunities to create an electric home atmosphere by visiting BaylorBears.com/GoGold. Sic 'em Bears.
Yeah, Derek, I guess you think we're a bunch of wimps. We don't like the cold, and you're used to it, right?
Hello. For Starry Lemon Lime.
Yeah, I guess you get spoiled.
What is Starry Lemon Lime Soda?
It's a crisp, clear burst of lemon lime flavor, and it's caffeine-free.
Between us, one of you must be a...
I have a friend we were talking about it this morning, and he said, yeah, I don't miss shoveling snow. He's from Minnesota.
Yeah,
that doesn't sound right. Oh, I like it. So you saying hip-hop could be hot hip. Works for me.
Starry Lemon Lime Soda. Starry hits different.
You're listening to Baylor Women's Basketball on the Baylor Sports Media Network.
Back here in Fort Worth, where the Bears fall today to Texas in the Sprouts Farmers Market ESPNW Invitational. All Texas in this one, 89-54. The Bears jumped out to a 9-4 lead. Then Texas put together a 23-2 run. And right as the Bears were trying to climb back in, Talia Scott went down with an apparent ankle injury, and that was kind of that from there as Texas rolled 89-54. I'll mention this, Lord, just as an aside. Texas presses, and they press for 40 minutes. I could argue that gets a little ridiculous. There's a part of me that's like, I don't know, at some point, at some point, I'm trying to think of a good analogy. When you press for 40 minutes, at some point there's a sense you want to call off the dogs, but that's not what they do. So I'm not going to complain about the final margin. I do think if they don't press all game, not quite the final margin, but that's neither here nor there. Whatever. Right now, it's all about is Talia Scott healthy, and it's about finding a way to bounce back, which Baylor is going to need to do next Sunday in the Big 12 opener against Texas Tech. That'll be a 3 p.m. start at Foster Pavilion with a game in the interim Wednesday night, 7 p.m. against Southern. And that's what's ahead here. Or excuse me.
We say Thursday,
I
right?
beg your pardon. Thursday night against Southern.
I was hoping that I didn't get that wrong because the men play on Friday night right afterwards.
Yeah,
so
it's a Thursday night game.
I don't know what day
Southern.
it is, Derek.
Yes, you're right. The 18th, that's a 7 p.m. start at Foster Pavilion. We hope you'll join us from there. So, Lori, got to bounce back. Every now and again you get dealt these. Texas was the better team by a considerable margin today. See if Baylor can get healthy, bounce back, and get ready for Big 12.
Well, you said it right. You don't let one loss turn into two, and Southern has beat a couple of Big 12 teams in Houston and Arizona, and done both of those obviously on the road. So you want to make sure that you come back and that you play a solid game against a Southern team that will compete hard before you play on that Sunday. Is that Sunday, Saturday, Sunday? Which day is that? We play Texas Tech on a Sunday.
Sunday, yep.
Sunday, and Texas Tech rolling as well, and you know that they've got that date circled to play Baylor as well, and you want to make sure that you protect your home floor, and you want to be playing well by the time that you get to that game next Sunday.
Well, we will join you on Thursday night from Foster Pavilion. Baylor taking on Southern. It's a 7 p.m. tip. We'll be on the air at 6:30. Certainly stay tuned this week. BaylorBears.com, Baylor Women's Basketball social medias will work to get updates when we know them on Talia Scott and how she's doing after exiting the game with an apparent ankle injury today. 89-54 the final. We're going to wrap things up here from Dickies Arena in Fort Worth. We want to say thanks to our producer, Van Goodall. He helped us navigate some technical issues before the game. Van, we appreciate you as always. Speaking for him and Lori Fogelman, I'm Derek Smith. We will talk to you in Waco on Thursday. For now, good night from Fort Worth.